Every step of Than escaped without worry. After he entered a distance, he stopped the big cliff. His gaze was quite unexpected. Right in front of him now, the fake awakened guy was being attacked by a monster, the situation of thousands of pounds hanging hair. But Park Soo-ho has not rushed to rescue and asked, "What are you doing?" Hearing the familiar voice, he looked up and replied, "I am here." Ho continued, "Didn't I say I would hunt alone?" Before that question, the fake awakening guy explained, "This is my hunt." Hearing that, he smiled and said, "Well, it turned out." This young man was originally just an ordinary person living in the 21st century. But that fateful day changed his life forever. While Park Soo-ho was walking down the street on his way to an internet cafe to hang out with his friends, he receives a message from his parents. The message said that he should buy some fruit that evening to bring to a birthday party. In track June, Park Soo-ho can cancel the last minute with friends and prepare to buy something as a gift, but suddenly there was a loud noise that appeared, make the whole street bewildered. Then from the sky there was a blinding yellow lightning, hit down under the horror of witnesses, rumbling an hour where this clay column hit. There are several cars that have exploded. The second lightning strikes straight down a building, also causing extremely serious damage. The whole city quickly became chaotic. People run and scream for help, and worse when the lightning religion, still continuing the shape loudly, Park Soo-ho also ran in the crowd. Even if you are a hard man, when he saw this scene he was still bewildered, silently told that this was just a nightmare. While running across the road, Park Soo-ho was driven by a truck. Crash. The moment he thought he was about to break the bone, then suddenly there was a blinding white light appear, making Park Soo-ho temporarily lost his vision, also lost consciousness. Until he woke up it was dark. Park Soo-ho opened his eyes, respiratory disorders because he was too stressful. There is only one question in the beginning. Just now the car was closed to you yet still alive. There is something strange after that, because when Park Soo-ho turned over, he discovered that the sky on his head had two giant moons. One is blue, one is red like blood. Park Soo-ho's heart could not calm down, then began to tremble. He stood up, discovered that he was naked in a forest. It doesn't look like Seoul. It was even more terrible than he saw a giant brown bear, being bitten by a flock of wolves. This scene really exceeded the pickleball level. That bear under the attack of the aggressive wolves. Even though much larger, it was finally unable to resist. Looking at the scene of deep wolves tearing the bear's body, Park Soo-ho can only hide behind a rock, hold his breath to watch. And suddenly he discovered a pair of eyes looking at him from behind. Park Soo-ho tensed his head. His mother was so an adult wolf. Afterward, the intense living instinct has urged Park Soo-ho to run away. He plugged his neck and ran like flying. Run until his heart said that if you didn't stop it, I wouldn't beat anymore. It was now suddenly Park Soo-ho heard a strange voice in his head. Announcement that his physical strength has increased by 1 level. He could not react to this strange voice, so stumbled on the ground and down the ground, even rolled a few times, falling straight from the cliff. Luckily for Park Soo-ho, he landed in a bush. If not, then also broken the flesh. What is the sound just now? I must have hallucinations, Park Soo-ho muttered. Then he discovered that there was a dust in front of him. It is not clear what fruit, but every fruit is round, juicy, looks quite like an apple. This unexpected sight stimulation made Park Soo-ho remember that I was a bit hungry, after he saw a flock of ants eating fruit. Immediately think that this fruit can at least eat, then put a fruit in the mouth. But Park Soo-ho is the number of squid dogs. He had just eaten a piece suddenly cold with his spine. The instinct told Park Soo-ho to raise his head to observe, and he saw through the dense bushes in front of him. There was a pair of cold eyes that were glaring at me. Park Soo-ho was so scared that he was missing a little bit, he bit his tongue. The owner of the other eye also quickly revealed as a giant snake, not waiting for him to react. It has come want a piece of Park Soo-ho to clean. At this time he even forgot how to breathe because he was so scared. But Park Soo-ho was so narrowly escaped. When at this moment there was a giant toad. A skip took the other snake, then the two of them pulled down the swamp. All of these things only happen in a few seconds. Park Soo-ho has not even swallowed the apple. He could not bear this attack, finally fainting again. This world is so weird. Or because he was crazy. But just like that passed, Park Soo-ho coughed again, awake in a pouring rain. This was the 67th day he was trapped in this strange world. The wolves are still aiming at him, making Park Soo-ho unable to become a day, because they do not know when they will be attacked by them. And in this forest, besides the wolves, there are still thousands of other hazards. That urged him to leave to find a safer place. Time continued to pass as fast as dogs running outside the field Park Soo-ho were trapped here for a year, and gradually accepted reality. He also mastered the search of food and got used to the strange voice that occasionally appeared in his head. For example, today when Park Soo-ho is harvesting a bunch of bananas, then he heard his muscle announcement increased one level. He survived and was also accustomed to having a wolf always following him. It seems that it is the adult wolf that he meets in the first time being thrown to this world. But Park Soo-ho is not too concerned, because he was busy with his life. While eating bananas, suddenly, there was a drop of cold water falling hit by Poo-hoo's back. I thought it was raining again. But when he raised his head, Park Soo-ho unconsciously uttered the words of Green Penny. Because that water drop is the water of a giant chimpanzee looks extremely aggressive. It immediately considered Park Soo-ho as a lucrative bait and started attacking. Luck is this year. Park Soo-ho also forged all kinds of survival skills, from running to swing. So he swung the string to avoid the attack of the sperm narrowly. As for the opposite, it was trampling on a tree that could not stand its weight that caused the branch to broken in half and it fell to the ground. Unfortunately, when it fell back to hit the mature white wolf right away, capital always follows Park Soo-ho. The small wolf was thrown out. Legs were hit by a branch of blood pinned, but his eyes looked at the spermatia filled with killing intent. This has made the monster big crazy. It quickly shifted its goals from Park Soo-ho to that little wolf. Unfortunately, before he could attack, he had plunged down from above, cling to its neck, then use a sharp branch to poking into its eyes. The chimpanzee screamed in pain, then reached for Park Soo-ho, then throw him away. Park Soo-ho's body hit a tree trunk. Blood from the forehead began to flow down, different from other male leads almost unable to return to their original world. Park Soo-ho can still return to Seoul after so many waves. The fact that a person returning from another world like Park Soo-ho is really a special case, so he had to receive the doctor's treatment. Along the process of asking the disease, Park Soo-ho told him all his experiences in his bizarre planet. When I heard that Park Soo-ho actively poked the blind eyes, the doctor seemed very surprised. "Why did you do that?" Park Soo-ho showed a somewhat devoted smile. "Because I felt that I could not avoid the fact that the monsters were scrambling for each other. Anyway, no matter where I go, I am the ruler." Back to those scary planets. After throwing Park Soo-ho, the chimpanzee seems to have regained the initiative in this war. As for him, because his body was exhausted, he could only look at it. At the moment when Park Soo-ho surrendered, the wolves once again appeared. Pioneering attack is an extremely brave white wolf. The chimpanzee was like a brown bear, before even though the body was bigger, she still fell into a weak position in this war. And so on Park Soo-ho fainted because of pain, while the wolf was surrounded by the chimpanzee. He originally thought that his life would come here to where, but the other wolves did not attack him when fainting. Perhaps they recited the love he saved the baby wolf. The small wolf injured in that leg was the son of the wolf, Landleader Lang. And so on Park Soo-ho successfully gained the trust of the wolves, always making this salad. He started eating and sleeping with them. Just like that, after the second year of wandering, Park Soo-ho has been officially accepted by wolves as a member of the herd. Thinking that this will end, but Park Soo-ho was wandered here until 31 years. You are still in the other forest, because haven't found a way to get out of it. He has not found any signs of a civilization that exists in this place, and the wolves have become his family. Park Soo-ho began to contribute more in territorial wars for the survival of his wolf family. Now, through 31 years of accumulating experience, his fighting skills have become very superior. In addition to human intelligence, there is almost no match failed. Time goes on. Blinking Park Soo-ho has spent 120 years of wandering in this world, and he thinks he is the only person to exist here. You don't get older. In the process of constantly fighting to survive, Park Soo-ho also has more animal friends. But he also lost a few of his friends because the life of the wolves was not eternal. Over time, Park Soo-ho has no longer counted for many years. He forgot the days feeling like hundreds of years has passed, and he did not understand why he still existed. So after becoming a wolf and over 500 years, you still can't find the trace of a civilization. So how could you return to Earth? Psychologist asked again. Park Soo-ho was silent for a few seconds and then started to recall. Then, he led a battle with Gorilla Clan in the Moonlight Hill as a wolf. Park Soo-ho fought very strongly. But right at the time of the war up to the climax, That dazzling white light suddenly appeared. He again, no way. The Earth was no longer peaceful and entered the end of the world. Before the gate of Park Suho's space opened, there was a group of a beautiful blonde girl carrying a Japanese sword and two other gate who were patrolling this place. In that girl's hand is an equipment. It seems that it has the effect of detecting the way, but now it is running up. This thing is bad again. The afternoon energy is jumping all over. That girl is... Quickly send our position to the management team of the gate moved, and the other guy quickly followed. But the position has just been sent. In front of them there was a great shock. It seems like a gate is about to be opened. Because they did not know what would come out from it, the three of them turned their heads to run away. But the shock is really too big, making the other two gate blows away. Know how to run nor escape. The other girl stopped. I will buy time. The two of them quickly ran away, saying the section and pulling out the sword, ready to respond. The other gate is about to open. In fact, she is also very nervous because she doesn't know what will appear from within. But she determined that no matter what it was, I had to tear it into pieces, and then that slowly appeared. But when you see it, the other girl could not act. See, because it is the shape of a person. It is important that this person also carries a huge prestige, causing her limbs hard, unable to control her actions. Although I do not know how Park Suho is capable, but the way he growled so crazy was enough for people to be scared. The other girl is extremely tense, although the hand is still on the hilt, but it was so scared that it couldn't withdraw it. After a while, Park Suho was exhausted, fall down, and the gate at the back also closed. The remaining two gate in the team saw this scene, rushed back. They could not believe what came out from the other gate was a human being. The only girl alone stood still, because she has not been able to explain just now by Park Suho. Even the monsters of the high-class dungeon that she had confronted could not create this great pressure. That made her really skeptical that Park Suho's identity was finally. They then called the ambulance and took Park Suho to the hospital. That is why you are here for nearly 2.5 hours to tell the other doctor's experiences in another world. After asking and recording all the things to know, he just forgives Park Suho, at the same time informed that his health was not special, so a few days later he could be discharged from the hospital. When he was about to leave, Park Suho suddenly called out, then said seriously, "This is the first time I talk to a civilized person after 1,000 years. Thank you for listening to my story." The bald doctor was ignoring a few seconds, then smiled gentle. "You shared a very valuable personal experience. We are the one who has to thank you, right?" The wild warrior returned after the adventure lasting thousands of years. Yet after leaving the room, he nodded and muttered that Park Suho was an interesting patient. His story is alive to every detail. If he is a novelist, it will be very successful. It seems that he is considering Park Suho as a mental patient. Park Suho's information was then transferred to the fake provincial management department. They quickly processed data and granted Park Suho ID card. "Captain, something wrong. Did you say he is the F class?" "Yes, he is a rare F class patient. Unfortunately, if it is class E, he can receive a disabled allowance from the government. But the problem F class means that he is just a normal person. How can a normal person go through the gate of the movement? Are you sure this information, right?" Her captain shrugged and said that Park Suho may be lucky. Anyway, sometimes there are such cases. Seeing her still doesn't seem to be trusted. The captain took out a report from the doctor from the hospital. The doctor in charge of Park Suho is Kim Jong-un. In the report, the diagnosis of him is a stress disorder after injury with symptoms of cognitive disorders, psychological disorders. Sometimes acting like a wolf seems to be trapped in a paranoid world. Excessive psychological stress leads to confusion between imagination and reality. They decided to give him antidepressants and psychotherapy therapy. Do you see, he suffers from PTSD, a common disorder in those who return to F. Indeed, when he first met Park Suho behind the other gate, the way he growled was really like a wolf. So what he could create, that was probably because of her imagination. This girl comforts herself like that. "Captain, this is the document of the person returning to Park Suho, right?" "Yeah, although he is class F, but we still have to treat a person returning according to the procedure." "Okay, so I personally gave him this person." The blonde girl seemed very resolute. Making her captain was also surprised. "Why did you give him yourself?" "Because there is something I need to verify with my own eyes." After saying that, she took the document and left. Blinking 2 weeks have passed since Park Soo-ho returned to Earth after 1,000 years of wandering in another world. While still there, he longed for more than anything. But now when he returned, Park Soo-ho felt everything was strange. He lay all day in bed, no motivation to do anything, nor did he know how he had to live now. The nurse knocked on the door to cut Park Soo-ho's vague thoughts. She brought the food. Park Soo-ho is also hungry. He sat up, seriously filled his hungry stomach. The blonde girl visited at the right time. Park Soo-ho is devouring food by hand. It looks like an animal. Just seeing the opponent appear, he revealed a wicked and precautionary gaze. "Hello, I am Chaining from the fake provincial management department," she introduced herself. Park Soo-ho stopped, then got down on the bed. The scent and blonde hair on Choi Soo-young made him very familiar. Park Soo-ho instinctively inhaled. "I was the first person he met after returning," she reminded. Park Soo-ho shouted, telling why he was familiar. Choi Soo-young was because he thought of a headache. Obviously, when she walked out of the gate, this young man felt like he was confronting a wild beast. But now he looks like a husky. This has made Choi Sang skeptical whether his ability to feel the real problem is. Park Soo-ho beat the cup very quickly. It did not take how long it took away the food tray. "Okay, just talk. So, what is the fake awakening management department?" He spoke first. "Hey, why are you so empty?" Choi Soo-young was a bit uncomfortable. Anyway, in Korea, people also value the use of glasses. "Because I over 1,000 years old," Park Soo-ho seriously answered. But this sentence reminded Choi Soo-young that he was a mental patient. Then she pushed to Park Soo-ho a document and began to explain. The fake provincial management department is a state agency established to support people who return like he reintegrated with society. In that document, the information that a person returned as he needs to know. Choi Soo-young asked him to read carefully and sign to confirm his personal information. "It is not worth mentioning if you don't pick the ballpoint pen and start to breathe. Why do you smell like that? It's been 1,000 years and people still use this." After that, he took the other pen to sign, but had not written for 1,000 years, so Park Soo-ho's meaning was slightly sloppy. "Are you really a trial not signed here? I told him to sign and specify my full name here." Choi Soo-young was a bit impatient. Now in her eyes, Park Soo-ho is really a great idiot. She patiently waited for him to sign. But the result was that Park Soo-ho painted the document of a wolf. Moreover, he was very serious, making her relatively annoyed. "Hey Park Soo-ho, did you practice drawing while in it?" "No, I know how to draw from before," he said. "So do you learn anything in it, like that dark magic or martial arts?" Park Soo-ho shook his head and said that all of these times were in the forest. He was originally more intended to tell, but when he heard it, Choi Eu-dong sighed. "So to be able to survive, he hid and hide for 10 years, right?" When she finished this question, Park Soo-ho's face appeared a question mark. He annoyed. The road is a majestic wolf and said it is said to hide and hide. As for Choi Young, she was a bit impatient. Ordinary people, to become a true return, need to destroy monsters and steal energy from their dimensions. But based on the reaction of Park Soo-ho, he is like a dream guy, accidentally falling into a peaceful space, living there for 10 years, and accidentally activating the gate of moving when he encountered a regression stone. Choi Soo-young also has no hope, even when returning to Ui Park. Soo-ho is worth it. Not 10 years. After a few seconds of silence, he once again spoke. His voice was extremely assertive. "I have been in that forest for 1,000 years. Of course, Choi Young no longer believes in his words. Even she started to feel uncomfortable. "Not 1,000 years, only 10 years only. You don't annoy me anymore." Repeated, she pointed to the file again. Including Park Soo-ho clearly recorded in 2015, then returning to 2025 through a moving gate. He read it. And it is true. This is really shocking for a person who has experienced a millennium in another world like him. Choi Soo-young did not want to comment further. She gave the fake identity to him, and saying that there is this, he will be supported partially. After telling Park Soo-ho to read the document carefully, Choi Young quickly left. "Well, when you recover, come back to your family," she added. After playing Eu-dong left, Park Soo-ho is still bewildered to understand the problem. Family God, he thought that they had been around for a long time. While still in the forest of the other world, Park Soo-ho soon gave up hope. He thought that even if he could return to Earth, his friends and loved ones were all over. And now, when he returned to the Earth, he had to accept the fact that he had lost his family in that forest. The animals he lived with for thousands of years. Park Soo-ho could not avoid despair because he once again became lonely. But now, looking at the file, he began to doubt whether it was all because he was inferred, when from that fateful day, only 10 years have passed. He read the file a bit slow because it was 1,000 years, so he could not remember the face anymore. Park Jun-ho's father and his mother Kim Dong were all lost in the 2015 prison outbreak, but his younger brother Park Jun-ho is still alive. Right here! Park Soo-ho's mood directly exploded. He rushed out of the disease room, despite the base of the nurses, but rushing into the room of the bald doctor Kim Jong-un. What's wrong, Park Soo-ho? I need you help, he said impatiently. My brother is still alive. I have to find it. Let me leave the hospital. Before Park Soo-ho's request, Dr. Kim shook his head again. He thought that a mental patient like him was still not really ready to return to society out there, and he should stay in the hospital waiting for his younger brother to come. Seeing that the opponent did not intend to agree, Park Soo-ho immediately changed his face. I think you don't understand the situation. I don't come to ask for your permission. Bald doctor. Haha, is that so? Can you leave the hospital? But I have a condition, Kim Jong-un calmly suggested. Then the two of them exchanged a few things, and Park Soo-ho successfully discharged from the hospital. Dr. Kim also helped him take a taxi and told the driver to take him home safely. The nurse went together to make it difficult to understand. She did not know why Kim and Google replaced Park Soo-ho to pay hospital fees, buy clothes, and even pay taxi money, while those who return to the F class basically are ignored by the Department of Management. And not to mention that he also called him a bald doctor with a disrespectful look. Why am I doing that? Probably because I still want to listen to the boy's story, Kim Jong-un answered. The other nurse is even more difficult to understand. They all feel what Park Soo-ho said was just a ridiculous story of a mental patient. Yet Kim Jong-un was so interested. After returning to his office, he did not forget to remind the nurse to quickly call the repairer. The person who does not pay attention will not know this size-deformed handle is due to Park Soo-ho. But Dr. Kim noticed. He did not believe that a normal person had such great power. So for a doctor like him, extraordinary patients like Park Soo-ho are really worth paying attention. While sitting on a taxi, Park Soo-ho accidentally heard a newsletter. On it noticed 3 p.m. this afternoon, at a non-barrier hunt near Houghton City Gang, one province the monster has spilled due to the wrong calculation of the dungeon. Because the situation is relatively stressed, so the Minister of Defense urgently sent an army and air force to go to combat and successfully controlled the situation after 50 minutes. However, the military side also suffered heavy damage. Specifically, 2 tanks were destroyed, 12 soldiers and Wake-up were killed. Then, information about the SPFC tournament, the fierce board station between the S-class superheroes in the world. The broadcast was between the 34th world-ranked person Michael Jervis with the nickname Russian Bear and Beyond Horizon, the 48th ranked worldwide. The winner in this match has the opportunity to win the championship with Hero the top player from Japan. Park Soo-ho has not been able to load information but still wait. Previously, Dr. Kim also said through the world has changed a lot now. After the great disaster, the Earth has turned into a completely different place. If I am a fake awakening, I will definitely quit this poor job and hunt out on the yard. Seeing him waiting, the taxi driver said, in Seoul, there is a hunting yard. Park Soo-ho asked again. The other uncle looked at him with sympathetic gaze, then clicked his tongue and cried, Park Soo-ho's injury in his head. Later, under his urging, that uncle started to tell a lot of things. From 10 years ago, after the disaster event, not only in Korea but around the world, the gates were opened to another world. It is called the Day of the Great Disaster. It was the first time the dimensions converge. The Earth also has a connection with many other worlds that leads to being invaded by monsters from those worlds. That day alone, Earth lost 10% of the population. The army alone is not enough to prevent the monsters from appearing everywhere. So in places that lack human resources, mercenaries have been mobilized, and those who disappeared in the Great Disaster were known to be fake, awakening, then were granted mercenaries and had the right to hunt monsters. These fake consciousness established guilds and started making money from hunting in hunting yards or in prison cells. Park Soo-ho coughed, feeling both interesting and excited. License. How to become a mercenary. Looking at him so serious, the taxi driver could only laugh. Well, for ordinary people like us is a bit difficult. First, you have to wake up. Then he needed to pass the mercenary test of the fake provincial management department. For those who have lived 1,000 years, in wildlife like Park Suho, these things seem complicated that headaches. The car runs for a while, then arrived. Park Suho went to the house that the taxi driver showed me. On the second floor, an old lady was wiping the window. Seeing him standing under the house and asked, "Who are you? What happened here?" "I came to look for Junho," Park Suho replied. At this time, the old lady presented an extremely irritable expression. A long time later responded, "This child is still, the mouth is still smelling milk and dare to say empty with adults. Well, there is no one here, is Junho. Quickly disappear." After saying that, he closed the door. Park subkey. He even thought he was the wrong house. Loans are miserable, every day disturbing us. Grandma the uncle is afraid to come again. There was another immature voice. "It's okay, Gunwoo, let's go to eat. It is a cruel world." What is the crime of this child like this? Dad went to work all night all the time, but the debt was more and more piled up. "Is your father a debtor?" the voice asked again. "Not. Come on, quickly eat." Park Suho heard it all. He was curious to approach the house and try it in the mailbox. In it all, the debt collection letters were sent to Park Junho. He did not think after thousands of years he saw his younger brother falling into a debtor. Park Suho left. In the wild world, the power is the law. But the law on Earth is much more complicated. If in the wild power is absolute, then in this civilized society money is strength. And that's why he made an important decision. That is to become a mercenary. But the harsh truth is, the request to join this force of Park Suho was quickly rejected. The reason is that despite being classified as fake awakening, but he still lacked up to 4 awakening points. Why is that? "I came here through the gate of moving 2 weeks ago." Ha ha. After listening to him, the receptionist could only laugh. Ordinary people will be torn if passing through the moving gate. "Are you Hulk or what?" "Go home in delusion." The other female employee did not hide her disdainful appearance to Park Suho cough. After that, she gave him an advice that he should go to the awakening school or gain points at a battlefield. Thus, he could come back here when he really became a fake love. Park Suho coughed out there, relentlessly lamented because this system was too troublesome. Then he accidentally read a nun notice. The content of the task is to destroy the goblin appears in the Suwon area. No more thought, Park Suho immediately took a taxi to go there. On the way, he saw a very high wall, curious to ask the driver, "How long is this high wall?" "It surrounds all Seoul." "Should you look in the new map application?" Application of a map. "Didn't you download it?" The driver looked at him like a forest. Seoul was now divided into 12 regions. There were more than 100 gates to travel, and the other dozen gates to go to the battlefield. Park Suho coughed unconsciously. It seemed that he had to buy a smartphone immediately. Very quickly the car arrived. The driver stopped at gate 27 of the Suwon area. Looking at the big gate, Park Suho could not hide his skepticism. If you walked over it, would you enter a hunting area of the real battlefield? In front of the gate, there were 2 supervisors in charge. As soon as he saw Park Suho coming, they asked immediately, "What are you doing here?" "Hunt," Park Suho responded to the drum. Obviously, this attitude of his 2 soldiers annoyed. But they still hold down and ask Park Suho to show themselves the license. At this point, he shook his head because he did not have a license. The remaining soldier heard it was surprised, then announced that the ordinary person was banned from going to the battlefield. Park Suho is still wanting to say something, then there is a warning bell, along with the panicked voice of several other soldiers. Close the escape. His mother is too late. At this time, from the battlefield, there was an army car rushing out. It is important that the driver is being attacked by monsters. So the car lost, the driver began to hit wildly. Immediately, other soldiers must ask the emergency squad to go to the hospital. As for themselves, they slowly approached the car that was overturned. The monster in the car seems to have torn the target, because it was soon after that it was broken, car door, and rushed out. Looking at that appearance, it is true that nausea is extremely endless. The soldiers seemed to be familiar with this situation, so guns were ready. After the monster appeared, they immediately opened fire. After a while of shooting like rain, in the end the other monster was resolved. At this time they have time to pay attention. Park Suho and discovered that he had disappeared, but they all thought that he was so scared, so he ran away. Whoever doubted that Park Suho now entered the battlefield, he stood on the top of a ruined building. Looking at the city has become ruined. Park Suho's heart a cold feeling. You don't think the beautiful city I lived thousands of years ago and now turned into this. Very quickly it was dark. The darkness is the environment that is too familiar with Park Soo-ho. Also in this darkness, his senses became more sensitive. Hunting time has come. Park Soo-ho from the top of the building, and land perfectly. He ran so fast, tried to jump a beautiful shot again. What he just showed was not the story that ordinary people can do, but Park Soo-ho still feels dissatisfied. He felt like his body did not have a weight. Is this effect of returning? It feels like I have just been nestled most of the power. When standing once again, Park Soo-ho started using sharp smell to sniff, and he quickly identified the enemy. Then he jumped down again, used the fastest speed. To move to the position I have zoned, there is a white wolf here being surrounded by weapons, and it is still seriously injured. Park Soo-ho from the darkness appears. The wolf's eyes pinned him tightly, and Park Soo-ho is the eye for help. Seeing it was attacked by the other monsters, of course he could not ignore it. Okay, then let this flood as your first prey. When returning to Earth, Park Soo-ho made a blow from behind. But even if he did not fight, this long-lasting flood was not your opponent. This feeling is too much. After Park Soo-ho destroyed all these monsters, in front of him appeared a pile of simulating windows. On it there is a writing of your rank along with the loading icon turning around. But after that, a series of red words appeared announcing that there was an error of the system. Park Soo-ho lost his patience, waved his hand to clean the other simulating windows. At this time the monsters came again. Every child who bared his sharp teeth wanted him to scan him, but which Park Soo-ho gives them that opportunity. Every punch that he launched was worth the money. Everyone take a baby? Even, it can be said that Park Soo-ho is waiting for this monster. Because of the way he was leisurely attacked, absolutely no pressure. Like fighting life and death. Now, the counterfeit window continues to appear. Serious system error notification, unable to rebuild indicators, and cannot obtain any career skills for Park Soo-ho. Then he remembered something when he was in the other world. Park Soo-ho also owned a system from the first day. But about 100 years ago, he almost no longer received a notice of increasing any indicator because his body had been trained to the highest limit. So it seems that on Earth also has this status table. And Park Soo-ho suspected whether the other system's fault was the reason why his ability was weakened after returning to Earth. Having achieved powers want to open an item store, Park Soo-ho suddenly received another notice. He widened his eyes in surprise because he had never received this kind of notice before. The awakening of power means this. Because of his curiosity, he immediately clicked on the open button. A store is displayed in front of him, but items are relatively poor, only water and bread. Water price 1 point and 2 point cake. Park Soo-ho's total score is only 7. It seems that with those 7 points, he can only buy these things. Park Soo-ho is also curious to buy. In front of him suddenly appeared a new cake and a bottle of water like magic. But this is not the time to eat and drink. Park Soo-ho remembered that white wolf. At this time it is dying. It seems that in the weapons of the monster poisonous medicine, the wolf looked at Park Soo-ho with pleading eyes, then cried a few interrupts. He realized he was sending his young child. This is like fate, because 1,000 years ago he also saved the son of the Wolf King and became their accomplices. In the end, this white wolf could not keep the life. Look at its tiny child. Park Soo-ho could not leave, then took the cake and the other bottle of water to eat. It seems that he still has to find a car over a long night. The sun grows again. Park Soo-ho buried a proper mother wolf. The puppy in his heart also had a good night's sleep. Now they have to continue on the road. Park Soo-ho carried the body of the monsters that he defeated towards the gate. Here, the hunters are also driving in the end of each other, and this process must also be closely monitored by soldiers. Keep the distance from the car ahead and remember to go to the disinfection room before coming to the counter. The other soldier said loudly, but these hunters, because of traffic jams, are very annoyed. They were still elected when Park Soo-ho suddenly appeared. He quickly became the focus of attention when he carried a monster. The ground, the end of the way, or why is it about this type of body? It is important that he alone handled all those monsters, the crowd whispered. Park Soo-ho pretended not to pay attention to the surrounding gossip. He went straight to the counter. The 7-goblin Kia costs $3,500 plus 3 crystal blood tablets of $600 deducting $2,000 and veterinary care for the other puppy that he received a total of $2,100. Blood Crystal Park, Soo-ho asked curiously. This female officer offered a blood-red crystal, saying they found this in Goblin's chest. The price depends on the energy stored in each crystalline blood tablet, and with the size of the 3 members that he earns, each member costs about $200. Because Park Soo-ho did not have an account, the staff had changed to cash for him. She also added, "You seem quite professional. If registered as a mercenary, it will be more convenient to make money." Park Soo-ho picked up the other shoe, felt a bit unrealistic. It seems that if he registered to be a mercenary, he was rich in a punishment. Meanwhile, in the house of Park Jun-ho, he just returned after earning a new job as a truck driver. The kind people in the area all know about Jun-ho's circumstances. Even the convenience store owner. Also give him an additional Kit Kat to bring his son. His new job was a bit dangerous because he had to go out to the hunting ground. But the salary is very generous. So Park Jun-ho is now very happy. Hope to pay off the debt has been lit up. Yet when returning home, Park Jun-ho was hit by a hooligan again. The bottle of wine and the new Kit Kat bought in the bag also splashed out. "Long time no see, right, Jun-ho? I still afraid you will run away?" Park Jun-ho then ate a battle of death. He also could not protest, could only be silent, both hit and cursed. "This dog. Do you know how many times I have to come here?" The head of the overbearing thug said, saying and blending the weapons in hand. "I sorry I was away from home to work outside Park Jun-ho's hunting yard, then pulled out a deposit. This is a loan payment this month and a total of $2,400. Please forgive me." The other thug holding the deposit began to count and then copied the mouth. "Let's see. The loan is $1,600. The interest incurred is $1,200 plus the fee to the home collection, and washing fee is in 4 days. Unfortunately, you still lack a bit." Obviously, they are deliberately catching Park Jun-ho. But he, besides biting his teeth to endure and apologizing, there is no other way. Park Jun-ho lowered his head, tears in his eyes, promised that he would find a way to return the remaining money within the next 3 days, just that he continued to eat a painful stick. "Dog, do you know what the interest is? 3 days. If you still dare to lie to me again..." At this moment, someone called Park Jun-ho's name to cut the words of the other thug. It turned out that Park Soo-ho and the puppy have returned. Park Jun-ho turned. Seeing his long-standing brother, who had been in a long time, was surprised. He skeptically called out, "Second brother. That Park Soo-ho?" The person who witnessed his younger brother was cruelly beaten, showing a look as if you want to kill people. Park Soo-ho slowly came kneeling down to his eyes with his younger brother. Then confirm again. "Are you Jun-ho?" His appearance made Park Jun-ho extremely surprised. In his old memories, when he was high school, he was always a bullying object. But Park Soo-ho, even though his brother has never reached out to help, even when he saw his younger brother being crushed. And then, in a 2015 afternoon, information of an unexplained explosion occurred in Sergio Ward Map Province. Then the clan widened the whole country on the TV. Park Jun-ho was at home at that time. The doorbell suddenly rang. He rushed out to open. But the person standing in front of the door is not a parent or Park Soo-ho, but his aunt, Jun-ho, is still at home. Aunt unable to contact the parents and children. "Also, where is Soo-ho? We have to leave here immediately. They are zealous. Right now the back wall was hit by something strong, causes Park Jun-ho to be knocked out. The apartment is split into a pile of wild. Through the wall punctured, Park Jun-ho can see a hideous eye. It was the first day he and many others had to accept that the world has now turned into hell. But Park Soo-ho, whether disappeared or not, it has nothing to do with him. Then he was such a person for him, yet now he once again appeared. The two cousins met again in this situation. Park Jun-ho thought that he did not have any feelings for this heartless brother, but now he saw his spicy nose. "You think you are no more. Why are you?" The thug was not patient enough, so he interrupted the conversation of the two. "Hey, you have been beaten a lot, so this young man is young but your brother. That's right. Park Jun-ho has gone through 10 years of life because of hard life and age before age. And Park Soo-ho takes 1,000 years in the other world. There is no change in appearance, so now Park Jun-ho looks like he is more like you." Sudden cross-section. Park Soo-ho is extremely annoyed, then grabbed the bastard's hair, then excited him to the ground. He did not even use a part of his strength. Still, it was still causing that thugs to roll a few rounds on the ground, then faint always. The other guys who saw their big brother were beaten to the dark eyes were so crazy. "Where are you injured?" Park Soo-ho asked anxiously. Seeing Park Soo-ho ignored himself, the debt collection immediately rushed over. There was an aggressive man who wanted to kick him, and Park Soo-ho doesn't even want to avoid. He sat firmly like a jelly table, causing the other guy to break his feet because of the last kick. He rolled in pain on the ground, constantly hugging his feet. Now in the hooligans, only one remains to stand, but he did not dare to attack because he thought that Park Soo-ho was a fake awakening. Here, Park Soo-ho slipped his hand to signal with him. This guy immediately frantically waved his hand. "What? I didn't beat him." "Really, I really don't beat him," he explained. But Park Soo-ho was not about to hit him. He only deposited the money, $2,100 he had just earned the ground earlier, and asked him to get money. "After finishing, I will quickly remove the country and never bother your brother again." The other thug was bewildered. After receiving the deposit, he bowed so low, saying it was clearly loudly 3 hours of thank you, and Park Soo-ho immediately pulled his younger brother to leave. Two people returned to Park Jun-ho's house, and see the old lady scolded away on Park Soo-ho's face yesterday. She judged Park Soo-ho from top to bottom, then doubted. "Is he really my brother?" "Yes, my brother." Park Jun-ho laughed and said. Park Soo-ho then went to give the old lady a bag of beef. Receiving this beef bag, she seemed anxious. "Truly, if it is real, then you have to tell us sooner. Hurry up and go home." The boy waited for him to come back to sleep. Park Soo-ho followed his younger brother. This is the first time he met his boyfriend, Gun-woo. Park Jun-ho said that the boy's mother left to find a new life, also because he had no talent, but also debt piled up. "Look at my younger brother, filled with such a confession." Park Soo-ho had to invite him to drink a few glasses. Two people, after many years of separation, began to talk a lot. Park Jun-ho expressed his surprise when his brother suddenly appeared as the fake awakening that he often saw on the TV. Moreover, he didn't get older at all. Park Soo-ho only cares about how much his brother is in debt, about 5,000 won. Fine. Now no matter what happens, I will overcome it." Park Jun-ho responded to it as light as Park Soo-ho knew his younger brother's life was not easy. "So what are you doing now?" "Let's rent only. Long-distance driving in this urban area is not much because it is very dangerous, but in return the salary is quite generous." Park Jun-ho said that the truck he was driving was the son of the landlord lent him. That person had gone suddenly, so the landlady now considered him and Gun-woo as family members. Although the old lady seemed a bit of pile, it was the benefactor of his life. Gun-woo now woke up because the small dog kept licking his face. Glancing outside, seeing his father returned, the boy was so excited that he used the other hand to run out. "Daddy." The vomit turned to look at Park Soo-ho with a reserved look. "Who is this brother?" "Well, honey, hello," Uncle Jun-ho said. Gun-woo obediently greeted the uncle to look at this young bamboo shoot, then asked for permission to let him play with the other dog. Park Soo-ho, of course, did not refuse, looking at his son smiling his eyes beside the small dog. Park Jun-ho is extremely happy. So, good Gun-woo wanted to raise dogs for a long time. Park Soo-ho found his grandchildren so happy, temporarily did not reveal that the small dog was actually a wolf. He returned to the main problem. "Then I asked my younger brother to work together to earn money. Specifically, he will take care of the monster hunting. And Park Jun-ho, with silk steering wheel, will use the other truck to clean up the battlefield." The next day, Park Soo-ho returned to the Fake Awakening Management Department. The female employee yesterday despised him today, also had astonishing eyes, because Park Soo-ho has officially become a fake awakening. Now he was able to use fake conscious identity cards to open accounts and trade. People also gave Park Soo-dok a new smartphone as a gift for the fake awakening to register as a successful mercenary. "Great," Park Soo-ho exclaimed. "This is what he needs." The employee said that he would receive a hunter test schedule and the hunting information if registered on the app of the Fake Provincial Management Department. When you accumulate enough resources from hunting monsters and successful promotion to E-level E, he will receive more bonuses and remuneration. "That's right. Do you know how to open the status window?" the female employee asked again. "Walking recently we were conducting repair because the system was a bit of malfunction." Park Soo-ho tried to open the status window of his information. The result was a bit disappointed because the parameters were greatly reduced. It seems that you have to start a new plowing process. After leaving the management department, Park Soo-ho immediately called his younger brother. Park Jun-ho is still driving now. Seeing his brother change the new phone number, he immediately guessed that he had registered as a successful mercenary. The two of them shouted at each other after Park Jun-ho finished the last shipment. We'll go to hunt monsters. But because Park Soo-ho is just a fake awakening, so he was extremely concerned about hunting monsters may be a bit too much for his brother. Anyway, we have to pay all the debt for you. Park Soo-ho finished speaking, then hung up the phone. Park Jun-ho felt a bit unrealistic. After returning, he no longer recognized his brother. His personality was different. Meanwhile, Park Soo-ho has found the gate of Namangan according to the information on the management app already. At this time on the road, there was a car carrying 3 young fake awakening. They all look quite tense, and this time here with the purpose of adoption to officially join the Villa Guild. And 2 people sitting in front are people of Guild Villa, responsible for supervising them to overcome this task. In it, the man with a sentence in a side driver's seat is very uncomfortable with the scene of the car crank into the gate. Mother in life, these roads. The flood has no strength, only takes care of the bonus like you, but also dares to come here, he thought with the upper tone. Park Soo-ho has now been informed. The soldier is in charge to see him go alone, moreover is just a fake awakening. It is impossible not to speak up. Do you know that each hunting yard is limited to the hunter? And he absolutely... Do not enter the dungeon area somewhere. Park Soo-ho nodded. I showed it clearly and entered. The 2 gatekeepers looked at his back, still felt hard to believe because he did not even bother to bring a piece of equipment. Although Park Soo-ho was a bit famous because yesterday he caught 7 goblins at gate num 27, they felt he was still overdose. And he was also overbore in the car of the other young fake awakening. He did not believe that he could hunt in a state that could not have a weapon. With a curious nature, this person ordered Han to Jin. The awakening is sitting on the driver's seat, accelerated. Park Soo-ho chasing. The car launched. But the strange thing is Park Soo-ho, capital a second ago, was slowly walking, now has disappeared at the end of the tunnel. Han Sang-jin even poked his head out of the door, listened to the 4 sides, but did not see his teeth at all. While the overbearing old man suddenly smiled because he felt like he was about to catch a big batch of fish already. They can't catch Park Soo-ho, because just now he accelerated running away. The essence is to test your physical. After being so tired the heart wants to stop beating. He finally stopped and accepted that his physical strength was a lot weakened. It seems that later it must increase the training. While Park Soo-ho was still busy breathing, he suddenly heard the sound of the sword collision with each other, along with the crispy curses more than the North girl. Dog, do you want to go reincarnated early? Park Soo-ho looked in the direction that the curse was echoed. Suddenly felt extremely excited. This is the match between fake awakening. Seems you can't ignore it. So Park Soo-ho found a high position to observe. He saw the 3 fake awakening wisdoms wearing blue shirts were surrounded by 9 other brown uniforms. And out of these 9 names, just had a person being cut off his hand. The other 3 were in a tight defense. Because obviously in this battle, they are weaker. Suddenly there was a blue car parked. People from the car stepped down with a tall physique the face and face have not yet seen. But the cursing sound has come first. I lead you to follow you to work like this. You guys have been handled these guys for so long. The 3 fake awakened consciousness immediately realized people in the car. He is playing GU6 is a general robbery C. Park Soo-ho found that this battle was nothing interesting to leave. But when he heard the information, 4001 the bonus, he stopped. It is playing GU6. The 3 fake awakened consciousness immediately became scared. This bastard who lets you arbitrarily call the name of the big brother like that. The other side immediately had a chat. Yes, I am playing GU6 to be rewarded 4001 here. If you are good, make me go. The bandit was standing among the brown robes. The tone was extremely proud. On the side of the fake consciousness on the opposite side, they were in a weak position after playing GU6, appeared it was even more confused. But they also do not want to leave all the spoils they have just worked for. Seeing the opponent seem to waver, Choi Gu-6 went to attack first. At this moment, Park Soo-ho has landed from his position to the ground, suitable in front of Choi Gu-6 and the other 3 fake awakening. Sudden appearance of a person seems unrelated, making both sides stop a little. This crazy guy, where are you going out? Choi Gu-6 shook his new cut head and asked. You said you are worth 4001, Park Soo-ho responded with another question. What about it? What do you want? I want money. He stiffened his mouth. The subordinates of Choi Gu-6 saw Park Soo-ho alone. Dare to be so eloquent in front of the big brother, it is definitely the day you have to sell salt. And the guy who used to rob the name C saw that he laughed. Looks like you are not the department of the administration. It would be better if you didn't interfere with me. But now it's late. Park Soo-ho suddenly felt his body stiff. His face was very calm, but actually it was a bit panicked. Choi Gyu-sik saw that, then took a step forward. Shorten the distance between the two, then gloats to his eyes and declare, "You have looked into my eyes for more than 5 seconds and now you can't move anymore." Saying the paragraph, he did not even bother to touch his hands and asked his juniors to catch him. Lao La immediately rushed over, swung the sword up. But when they were about 3 steps from Park Soo-ho, they stopped because they had to witness an unbelievable scene. "You can move." Moreover, he swung his fist directly in Choi Gyu-sik's face. No matter how much this fist has no damage, but only the fact that Park Soo-ho can move is very respectable. Even Choi Gyu-sik was shocked. "Is this your magic?" He suddenly laughed. "It is also interesting." Park Soo-ho then quickly launched another fist. Choi Gyu-sik panicked, discovered that he was not an easy-to-eat opponent, so once again launched the seal. Park Soo-ho continued to stop. Taking this opportunity, Choi Gyu-sik pulled out the dagger on the side. But the knife was only half withdrawal he was involved. This time was to eat Park Soo-ho's knee in the face so badly. "Apart from that, cold seal, you have nothing more useful," he contemptuously said. Choi Gyu-sik was so painful that he could not open his eyes, but still persisted in using his trick. Unfortunately, in this third time, when I could say the word phone, had not yet uttered the word, Park Soo-ho's fist was arrived. Every time he came out, it was very strong, making the opponent dark eyes. After that, the attorney was released. Although the bandit was higher than the name of Park Soo-ho, it was much taller than him, but he could only play and receive a blow. Can't hit a shot, finally humiliating for Park Soo-ho to work straight to the ground. Looking at him, rolling hair tornado on the ground and a broken glass on the side, the people present at this time could not hold back, but at the same time opened their mouths in surprise. "It is boring," Park Soo-ho commented. Unbelievable. They could not believe that Park Soo-ho could handle Choi Gyu-sik, moreover with such a leisurely appearance. A master, why no one knows what reputation. Park Soo-ho, after knocking Choi Gyu-sik's raft, turned around. He discovered that his subordinates were still pointing his sword at him. "Do you still want to fight?" Choi Gyu-sik asked. Immediately, the crowd woke up and collected weapons again. They are not stupid. Every life goes to fight with a strong person that is unacceptable like this. Park Soo-ho asked them to stand in line to one side, that the whole association obediently obeyed because they wanted to keep their small network, saying that he turned to the other fake awakening and asked them if anyone brought the rope. "Yes, I have a string," the first guy said happily. Park Soo-ho nodded, then turned to Choi Gyu-sik's subordinates and asked how much they were hung. If there is a price, he will take a batch to save time. The whole crowd looked at each other, then shook their heads and explained that, in addition to playing Gyu-sik costs 4,001, they were all anonymous, small, not hung. "Please forgive us. You just need to catch Choi Gyu-sik is enough to become a rich man." Choi Gyu-sik now also awakened after the shock, or hearing these words he was so angry. Park Soo-ho brought his rope to tighten his limbs. Choi Gyu-sik lies on the ground, stared at his subordinates and cursed. "The betrayal. How long have you been following me to eat and dare to do this with me?" Park Soo-ho heard the sound, then turned around. "Are you just waking up?" Choi Gyu-sik's subordinates panicked. They are afraid of this new big brother being teased for unhappy will bring themselves into sandbags, so they cursed at their former big brother. "Lie still. Yes, go to prison. Trash." Speaking Park Soo-ho turned to them. "So I don't need you anymore, right?" "Yes, we are useless." The whole crowd nodded furiously in the hope that he would release them. But this plan could not be done, because at this time, the fake awakened guy in the back screamed that they were lying. "All these crowds are criminals. If handed over, Park Soo-ho can receive bonuses," he immediately shouted. And this noise made the hearts of the other people once again hung up. "Hey, Mr. Dung Choi Gyu-sik is being stiffened in the back," suddenly spoke. "Do you not feel uncomfortable with the rules in this city? This place is the land of freedom. If you release me, I will help you have a life like the king." The invitation is somewhat attractive, and Park Soo-ho answered by feeding him a straight kick in his face. On Choi Gyu-sik's face immediately appeared a shoe, then unconscious personnel. Making him shut up now need to come back to the main problem. After confirming that the subordinates of the robbery general were also criminals fled, Park Soo-ho immediately decided to take them a batch. Just many criminals, he did not know how to bring them back to handover. You just use our car, the fake awakening guy suggested. Oh, do you have a car? The problem of vehicles has been solved. Park Soo-ho then hit all of them and then dazzled. The quality of the truck of the other fake awakens. On the way back, they kept saying thank you. Although Park Soo-ho helped them for their own purpose, but the fact that he saved their lives was still true. Now my life is all of that benefactor. What to do that Park Soo-ho lazy to talk to them, then leaned on the glass door to pretend to sleep. But walking for another part, the driver sitting on the driver's seat made an excuse to talk to him. He asked what was Park Soo-ho's superpower, then introduced his own skill as a sword pursuit and exploration. In particular, the sword art is a skill received when awakened, and the pursuit and exploration because he learned himself in the skill book himself. Oh, so magic can also learn in skill books? Park Soo-ho asked again. But this question of his opponent was surprised. A player who plays this size is like a forest person not knowing what the skill book is. Park Soo-ho kept remembering the seal of Choi Gu-6 earlier. It seems that living in a society consists of fake awakened people living in the forest and beasts. You also need to equip a few new combat skill instead of normal fighting skills. The car continued to run, and Park Soo-ho coughed to see a glowing wall. He asked the next person, "That is the gate, right?" "Oh yes, that's the prison. The hunt for monsters of B-class people in level 1, unfortunately." Park Soo-ho sighed. His words continued to shock the opponent. "What, you still don't have a hunter's certificate?" Park Soo-ho nodded lazy. The two eyebrows of the fake awakening guy unconsciously tightened. "When the prison gates are opened, the army will be the first force to conduct a punishment there. They finally leave small monsters at the hunting yards. These monsters are an opportunity for hunters at the gate of the one-level prison bunker to E. The hunter will then have to go to the second prison bunker. But it is worth mentioning that a person is not allowed to enter the first level 1 dungeon like Park Soo-ho can gently defeat Choi Gu-6C. This has made the other guy wonder forever. Park Soo-ho also felt that the opponent's eyes were looking at him, so he asked, "What do you want to say?" The guy was a little hesitant. "Sorry for being rude, but can I ask your level?" "Level F," Park Soo-ho said, "empty." And this answer of him was a little bit more and made him plunge the car into the abyss. "Okay, don't be so surprised. Because I granted F, I have something to ask you. At this time from the first-class prison, the 3 young fake awakening have completed their duties. But they were all injured, including a person who was seriously injured. Han Sang-jin and his uncle Kao have the other as the person in charge also followed them. But it was clear that his face was an extremely uncomfortable expression. Damn it, these days the certificate has been allocated too easily. We have to tighten activities. Starting from the interview, you chose these trashes in the round. Captain I calmly. Han Sang-jin hurriedly put out the fire these days, only people like that. He also knows the situation of our guild now. The reason he was so annoying because nowadays, just a little money, the other children are also awakened easily. Because through the broker, they will buy monsters who have been arrested at high prices, then dazzle them, and then leisurely use a knife to slash meat and slash the meat to be awake. Then they just need to enter the prison recruit experienced hunters to accompany to eat the promotion. Finally officially joined the guild and perform the task. And because of this gap, those who have no ability to fight can go in and out of the dungeon. Then their teammates will suffer all those damage. Captain, please calm down, or we go to drink a few glasses. Han Sang-jin found his face worse and worse, trying to change the topic. But why is this one-sided prison surrounding so chaotic? Well, I don't know what happened anymore. The uncle Areka said, then proceeded to talk to a soldier of Jiang's surname with a captain. A captain, Kang Min-yuk. Captain Kang just glanced at him. "What is happening here is so messy," Kang Min-yuk asked. Captain Kang recounted with the excited tone that there was a fake awakening here to catch 10 robbers. There is also a famous sea robbery general Choi Gu-6. When he finished listening, he changed his face. Really playing 6. Could it be that any high-level awakening has come here? This time, Captain Kang hardly shook his head. He said that the catcher was just an anonymous good level F, not even eligible to register for a certificate. Kang Min-yuk finished listening, even more surprised, immediately asked, "How could he do it?" "I don't know. According to the witnesses, he just used his fist and lowered them. The bastard Choi Gu-6 at that time was broken the bridge of the nose, the cheekbones, and the broken four ribs. Hearing Captain Gang described Cam Minor suddenly thought of one person who was a young man alone, not even bringing the weapon to hunt, but he saw outside the gate. Kang Min-yuk immediately eagerly asked Captain Kang to see where he was now, then immediately chased that direction. He wanted to check Park Soo-ho himself. If you are really capable, then he is also not afraid of all tricks to hug this big fish at his side. Without extra, except Mean High Australia immediately ran back to the military vehicle shouting, "Emergency urgent." Hearing the loud voice, the others still did not understand what happened. He continued to say, "Emergency." At this time, from the car, one person asked Kang Captain, "What's wrong?" Min-yuk immediately replied, "I heard that the guy who just arrested Choi Gu-6 has gone into the gate, right." The guy sitting in the car heard so bewildered. Yes. How much is he trying to ask? At the same time, on the side of Soo-ho, he was the same fake awakening that had entered the gate. The fake awakened guy heard that, smiled, and said, "If there are no products made from pluralistic energy, we will not be able to go through this gate." Hearing this, suddenly Dugong Park Soo-ho stopped. His eyes glanced back. He wondered, "What is that?" The other guy explained, "Well, people call it the door. By these doors we can move to 38 dungeons. Our door leads to the number 24 prison bunker." After saying the sentence, suddenly the door exploded and disappeared on the spot. Park Soo-ho suddenly asked, "The door disappears." He woke up. "It will open when we clean up the dungeon." He still did not understand, asked again, "What is cleaning up?" "Kill all the monsters in this." He replied, "Ah, no. You just need to catch the most powerful name." After being exhausted, Park Soo-ho began to boot. "Thank you, I'll come back right here to stand here." Hearing this, he exclaimed, surprised, "Ah, wait, what did you say?" But before he could let him finish the sentence, Park Soo-ho's feet trampled backwards. In just one blink of an eye, his body disappeared on the spot, soaring. Leaving at this time, the fake awakening guy stood alone. He thought, what's wrong with him? Did he just hear about it? Come to think of it, he deceived that thought. No. If he was so strong that he caught Choi Gu-6 level C, could he shorten this time to clean up this prison bunker? The expression of the fake awakening guy was suddenly dumbfounded, his eyes opened. But he has no exploration skills. If after clearing the monster he could not find the position of the door and leave within the limited time. No more thought, he rushed to search. Oh my God, we will be locked and destroyed with this doc. Transition on the outside of the dungeon, the news of Park Soo-ho is still being explored. The soldier exclaimed this. Hearing that, Min-yuk asked, "What's wrong?" He glanced back and replied, "The door 24 has just closed." This word made Min-yuk's face change. He gritted his teeth and gnawed. Damn it. Returning to the dungeon in a forest covered with a purple mist, a series of legs with sharp claws appeared. They are monsters with a horrible shape of a handful of weapons. Being walking when suddenly one of them discovered something, the sharp teeth grind. Before he could understand what it understood, it was strongly impacted by a strong force. The remaining children saw that their accomplices were surrounded by their pests. They shouted, but right after that, it suffered the same fate. Receiving a sudden step on the ground, rolled a few rounds. Not stopping, the body of a person also appeared quickly. The footsteps are rushing to stop at the spot. The one who just acted was none other than Park Soo-ho. He picked up the dagger on the ground. Next, he slowly approached the monster's abdominal slit. The red blood streaks shot up to splash. The smell of pure makes Park Soo-ho extremely uncomfortable. He frowned and exclaimed, this smell." After a while searching, he took out from the monster a bright red stone. He was satisfied with satisfaction. Every 3 children have a blood jelly. If I go to the bonus, I will probably earn enough already. Soo-ho thoughtfully looked at the board in front of him, thinking, but the more important thing was to increase. After a while, the fake awakening guy finally chased. But I couldn't see Park Soo-ho, only found on the ground. Now there are monsters lying scattered. He exclaimed, surprised. That's new that he was. After saying that, he began to use his ability. 2 pupils emit white light thought to pursue. When the subconscious range was launched, he finally found in that direction. On the side of Soo-ho, the system table appeared in front of him above the level 1 name, Park. Soo-ho, Class Druid 102. The system of the system continues to domesticate the wild beast druid, which has calculated intimate training of 10 monsters, summoning the intimate seafood spirit, 10 monsters looking through a turn of Park Soo-ho spoke out with reality of 102 points. I can choose to buy 2 skills. He did not think, but immediately clicked on the domestication screen. Every wild beast has a different monster index. If exceeding the total number of beasts, sometimes they will lose control of him, he said. Very good in the immediate future with this one, with this one, with this one. Before he could let him finish the sentence, surprising from above, there were 2 monsters jumped down to sneak. But they are completely not the opponent of Soo-ho. He still stood in place without moving. His sharp eyes glanced up. He immediately straightened, and strongly into the muzzle of the monster made it deviate. Soo-ho grabbed her 2 hands and then let them play the roller coaster. Finally, he closed with 2 critical attacks that could not be seen with the naked eye. The system followed the notice. Real product, 545. Soo-ho showed excitement for the more monster to say, increase. The joy was unable to rise, the information came again, the mistake of death. Data mutations are supplemented and synchronized data until the limit is reached. What did you suddenly ask? Why is it synchronized? System of level 2, name, Soo-ho, class, druid, 345, muscle parameters, 135, physical strength, 151, TRI, look 99, recovery, 90, therapy, 88, HAI concept. Reading through one time, he frustratedly wondered the specifications only increased so little like that. He continued to click on the screen and said, first use 100 point to buy the spiritual spirit skill on the display, summoning the intimate harmony of 10 monsters. The sound notice of the system has achieved skills. Soo-ho was eagerly decided to test the skill of summoning vegetable spirit. Immediately in front of him, a series of dim light flew up the middle was a small sphere. From the ball, a spirit girl with wings behind her back appeared. The scene of a series of spirituality flying around made Park Soo-ho a bit surprised. This is true, at first I thought the plant spirit was just a few insects. After saying that, he ordered. Spirit finds the remaining goblin guys. Hearing the spirit order, began to turn to search. It creates a large stream of light shining on the surrounding trees. Soo-ho saw that it turned out that this is a way to convey all the memories of the plants into my brain. But why is it so slow? Is my level too low? Speaking of which, he immediately shouted the skill status board. The system screen quickly appeared. Level 2 name Soo-ho class. Druid, actual 345 muscle parameters, 135 agile, 127, physical strength, 151, TRI, Luke 99, recovery, 90, therapy, 88, comedy, HOA, 17, wild 44, exploration scan, top terrain and objects pursuit. Get a lot of information from a small clue. Reading those skills, he was somewhat passionate, muttering, exploring, and pursuing, saying that Soo-ho immediately clicked on the system screen. I will use the remaining points to buy all these skills. The notification sounded. Skill received. Skill received. After being equipped with a new skill, he slowly bent his hand to the ground. His eyes also closed, feeling everything. When Park Soo-ho spoke exploration, a white light around him covered everywhere. Suddenly his face was a bit depressed, Simi-sung, and said, the terrain of the object here. Just mention that. Park Soo-ho stopped. His eyes shouted at the pursuit. A moment after checking, he only received useless information about the dead goblin before. Speaking of which, suddenly he felt something unusual, suspicious eyes, or looked up. Right next to Yu-ho is a forest with strange neck. White fog, covered. He muttered, that. While saying, he smirked and smiled happily. Isn't goblin. After saying that, Park Such rushed into the forest towards the mysterious creature. Junho angrily shouted, I told you so, noisy. Saying all the sentence is also the time when he swung the knife and cut off the head of the monster. Even the monster was lying on the ground, blood splashed. But Junho still has no intention of stopping. He ran to use a knife to continue stabbing into the body of the monster, cursing. Die rubbish. As soon as he stabbed, he screamed, dying quickly, dying. In the sky, a series of rows of lightning rang fiercely, as sympathetic to Junho at this time. Die. After a while of his anger, he knelt on the ground, breathing in every breath. River. In the rain, the blood streak of the crimson monster. Junho's face bent down, unable to see the expression. His hand still clenched the knife. Suddenly at that moment, a flash of lightning flashed. His face gradually saw his eyes became extremely interested, a pleasure smile. Hi. Before he could let him rest more from the distance, the shadow of another monster was also rushing. Feeling the footsteps and noise, Junho glanced to the side. When he turned to it was the time when the monster rushed. He grabbed his hand tightly. Because of the unexpected attack accompanied by the reaction, the two fell to dive. Under the cold rain and the blurry light of the lightning bolt, the image of the monster is wagging the mouth full of fangs aimed at Junho's head. Before the moment of the boundary between life and death, his eyes opened, the corners of his mouth slightly laughed. He is no longer afraid, but he holds the knife through the monster's neck. Junho was angry and screamed as a little bit for a long time. At this time, the situation became more and more dangerous. The fake awakening guy was about to stand. He glanced at Park Soo-ho, shouting, "I saved me!" But before he could let him understand anything, the shadow of a person was lightning to appear. Park Soo-ho moved forward to launch, kicking the shield of the monster. It received a surprise, so I could not react. The whole person needed back. But also very quickly it regained consciousness, leg backwards. The monster took the momentum of the sword straight to the standing place, black for it before he could do anything. He was fed another charge. His body thrown into the big rock behind, causing the stone to break down. Not stopping there, he continued to rush quickly. The monster was now beaten for flying gore growth. Park Soo-ho's footsteps are getting closer. Immediately he jumped into the air, tightly tightened the sword, and then a loud noise rang out. He officially saw off the monster down the tomb. The notice rang out and increased. Received 120 real points. Hearing that, he smiled contentedly. This point is perfect. The entire scene just now was witnessed by the fake man. His face revealed the bewilderment of not uttering words. After finishing the boss, Park Soo-ho smiled and asked, "Now the door has opened, right?" Listening to the fake awakening guy, a little startled, and replied, Yes, it is open." Just like that later, both of them went to the outside of the door without any injury. Seeing him walked out, the people on the military control side were somewhat unexpectedly stopped. They were bewildered and asked each other, "Is that the one who arrested GU6, right?" The other person replied, "That's right. Captain Kang is looking for him." Hearing that, the person inside the car immediately exclaimed, "Oh, he asked us to contact if he appeared." The outsiders, puzzled. "What's wrong?" After checking one turn, his expression became even more surprised, wondering, "Is this time he cleans up this dungeon?" Hearing that, the teammate standing next to him, "Yes." At the same time, at Soo-ho, the fake awakened guy said, "I have to find my teammates just now. I will call you back later." "Big brother." He heard that. "Yeah, you're hard. I put the costumes and items in the storage room." After saying that, he also returned to the storage room to store furniture. After a while, the door slowly opened. Soo-ho also walked out. He now changed a new outfit, more comfortable. His mouth said softly, "So hungry." But when he just finished the sentence, he suddenly stopped. His eyes were somewhat unexpected. Right in front of him, a man stepped over and said, "Hello, Park Soo-ho." He calmly asked, "Who are you?" The other person immediately introduced himself. "I am Kang Min-yuk, captain of the commander of the 27 Guild. Shill, can I talk to you a little?" After a while at the nearby shop, the two sat and talked. Soo-ho looked at the business card, wondering if the Shill Guild Kang Min-yuk responded. "Yes." He continued, "I want to invite you to Guild Shill. We will provide the best conditions for you." But before that kindness, Soo-ho did not care at all. He replied coldly, "No need." Seeing that his attitude, Kang Min-yuk was somewhat suddenly glanced over. He pale, thinking he refused to ask for his Guild Shill immediately. Does he want to raise the price? Thinking, he continued, "If you already have a guild, then you can ignore our invitation." Hearing that, Park Soo-ho slightly closed and answered, "I don't have." This made Min-yuk noticed a chance. He said, "Although our guild ranks 4th, but in fact, the rank between you does not mean anything. Even if you receive an invitation from other places, I guarantee you that we will provide you with the best conditions." Despite hearing that, Soo-ho still maintained his intention. He put the cup of coffee on the table. Then he smiled slightly. "No, it's because I don't like to work under others." That made Kang Min-yuk speechless and did not know what to say next. After talking, Park Soo-ho has no reason to stay. He walked straight back home. But when he walked inside, he realized that the room was still empty. He wondered they haven't returned yet. Outside, the sky is still clear blue and white. The sun is very comfortable. Soo-ho lies down on the wooden plate, thinking it is true that the 2 or 3 of them need to spend more time each other. Being immersed in thinking, suddenly the landlady passed by, asked the boys were long and broad shoulders why lay here. Hearing that, he smiled and said, Grandma, she also came here to try this weather is very suitable to take a nap for a while. But contrary to his attitude, the landlord coldly replied, Didn't you see me here to dry out? Suho quickly understood her idea. He immediately ran to help her expose clothes. She urged, stretching out, kid. Yes. As a landlady, he continued to ask, Are you the brother of the 3 guild UNSU? Park Suho smiled back, yes, that's right. Hearing that answer, the landlady could not help Lao Mi-sung. Haha, it's hard to believe. Are you cheating? In response to her saying, he continued, I have cheated so much older. She laughed. Monkey father, this boy. Suho found that she did not believe it was helplessly not knowing how to explain. Really, the landlady said the strange things kept appearing, causing many people to lose their lives. For 10 years, the 2 brothers have just met. Again, do not hurt their relatives anymore. Just believe and move forward. Knowing that she was comforting herself, Park Suho looked at her warmly. He replied, Please rest assured, I'm not easy to die. When she heard that, she softened softly. He was so wagged about what was not possible. At this moment, Junho's father and son came home. He asked, Grandma, are you on there? Guild also quickly ran back, smiling and saying, Grandma, the landlady heard that some grandchildren find it. After saying that, both of them went to the terrace where Park Suho was sitting and greeting. Uncle, he smiled and asked again, Is it home? Wait for Junho to sit next to him and take out an envelope. Junho saw that his face was surprised to ask, What is this? Suho replied, 50 million won, I took it away. Before that sentence, he could not believe his ears. His whole person stopped. The eyes are somewhat vague. Junho took the money, hesitantly asked, How do you have a large amount of money? But before he could let him finish the sentence, Park Suho said, You just take it and let us go to dinner. Junho choked out, What should I repay this grace? Seeing his younger brother so grateful, he urged, Don't nag. Let's go quickly. Junho reached out to wipe away the tears on duty. I know. As soon as I mentioned it, suddenly, Suho smiled and called Junho. Hearing the call, he suddenly turned back. Suho continued, I have money to buy meat with wine, right? This sentence made Junho happy. He replied happily, Of course I'll go buy now. I look after you, guild. Just like that, Park Suho was assigned to him. He was engrossed in joking with him and his dog. Chase away. Suddenly, the system appeared in the notice. Some objects followed the user invited to name. Did you be bewildered? After saying that, he turned to consult Gunwoo. Hey kid, what should you name it? Now, right now, the boy excitedly responded. Go to the beak. Biku. Hearing that, Suho also proved quite interested in this name. Biku is heard good. From now on, the lucky name will be Beak. I don't know if the dog understands anything, but it is also extremely satisfied with the tail. An information board appears on its head. Baku Level 1, Battle 3. Just like that, all 3 play. The ball comes here. Oh, my uncle. Byaku is really fast. Gunwoo happily jumped up. Byaku is doing well. Come here. Just like that, one day is about to pass. The sun slowly set. Gunwoo lies on the shame of lamented wood. I so hungry. Why haven't you come back yet? Just mentioning here, suddenly the sound of the car engine also rang out. Park Suho continued. 3 children have just returned. He looked down at the pickup truck parked on the porch, saying, Let's pick it up. At the bottom, from the outside of the door, a foot walked inside. Seeing that he had returned, Gunwoo was happy to run back and call Daddy. But when Junho's face was clearly exposed, his whole body was covered with blood. The whole body was tattered. The scene in front of his eyes caused the boy to stop. His eyes opened. His mouth faltered. 3. Hearing his son's voice, Junho tried to come in to respond. Guild. Before he could finish the sentence, his whole person fell down to the ground. The scared boy ran to call Daddy. Suho stood at the spot surrounded by screaming. Daddy 3, Gunwoo, what's wrong? That night at a large building was still lighting. Inside, there are countless black vest names. Sitting cards looking at it is not a good thing. A sitting at the table loudly asked, How's SPFC dividend this week? The junior stood next to him. John Habit increased by 1.2 times. Dang Jin Sheol increased 7 times. Hearing that, he continued to ask, Next week will take place the match between Michael Jordan and V1 Horizon, right? The junior name replied, Yes, everyone is printed for Michael. The big brother heard a hard time asking, Does Horizon have a problem? Last time the tiger hurt? I also listened to those people and went out to see. As soon as I said it, suddenly from the outside there was a loud noise that made them startled. The big brother shouted, "What is the sound outside?" He quickly urged the juniors hurry up and see the other guys hurry up. Before they could reach them, the door was opened. From the outside, a shadow wearing a black vest is like they are standing in the middle of the door. The whole person is motionless. That image makes the juniors inside do not understand what is going on standing still. At this time, the person standing outside the door with gore was trembling and said, "Big brother, there's a big deal." But not allowing him to finish the sentence, a black silhouette back and forth appeared right behind, reaching his head to grab his head. The subordinates were so strongly pulled back, shouting up, "Ah!" knowing something was wrong. Speaking of which, the whole crowd ground their tents to rush outside, shouting loudly, "Which dog dares?" Before he could let him deliver a few sentences, the body of the junior earlier flew straight into his body, causing him to fall back. His whole person could not react to fall back, rushing into the tables and chairs. The others saw that immediately, withdrawing in threats. "Damn it! They're all dead good, then come here to go a dog." At this time, from the outside of the door, the space is dark, accompanied by a strong, oppressive thread. Suddenly, a pair of glowing eyes filled with anger slowly appeared. Accompanied by that, a foot slowly moved inside. This person's hand is full of blood tendons, angrily grabbed the closet. Then just gently with a hand that was able to lift the cabinet in the air. The person who is appearing and standing here right now is none other than Park Soo-ho. He seemed to turn into another person, extremely resentful eyes. Witnessing the scene of happening, the subordinates were terrified to step back, shouting, "Huh, that guy already." The end of the sentence is also the time when they were thrown by Park Soo-ho. The room was filled with screams. Not just there, he continued to handle the whole crowd inside. Each piece of broken glass splashed out. Pinning straight into the crowd makes them unable to react, only know how to creak. The other unfortunate guys were fell to the ground by Park Soo-ho. Gore rang out. The scene now looks terrifying. Another thrown straight out of the glass door. He kept flying down below and could not do anything, his limbs struggling to scream. After a while, the crowd was handled by Park Soo-ho. He stepped on his head and then went to the boss. The boss now trembled. Sweat poured out like rain-scared eyes. Right in front of him, Park Soo-ho still stood there, his eyes opened, glaring at him as if he wanted to eat. The boss was scared to scrutinize. The trembling voice cried out, "Ah!" He whispered with the subordinates standing beside him. "Do you know who he is?" The subordinates heard that also responded, "It seems that he is awakened when he is." But before he could let him finish the sentence, Park Soo-ho came to bring his foot to the table. The unexpected kick caused the coincidence of the same name to not react. The whole person was cried out in pain. "Ah!" The furniture computer on the desk also fell to the ground broken. He put one leg straight up on the table and faced him. The boss of the tone of his moaning Park Soo-ho interrupted. "Are you Kim Jong-soo?" He heard that in response, his mother must be Kim Jong-soo. Although extremely scared, he still tried to ask who you are. Soo-ho immediately took out an envelope file straight down the table, shouted, "I came to pay the debt to Park Jun-ho." This word made Yong-soo's name gritted his teeth. "How you are a crazy guy," he continued to threaten. "A person who awakens like you dare to beat ordinary people like me? Do you think I will leave you alone?" The words in anger made now he stopped because he felt that he had missed his mouth, his eyes worried. And as expected, right after that, he was given a straight incident. The striker's maxillary teeth also followed. He continued to swing another slap on the other side to ask, "Why are you treating like that to pay for you?" As soon as he slapped him, he continued to discharge his anger. "You just need to receive money, thank you, and then say the song is done. Just say the speed of the slap is faster. Why are you bastard you dare to do it?" Due to eating a series of slaps for a while, Jong-soo's name could not say anything, just know how to bite his teeth, blood splashing. His nose tears at that time were pleading, "Please." Before he could let him say another slap came, "Forgive me." Park Soo-ho stopped. His eyes were still furious. "Let me pay this debt to you. Do you want to be beaten again?" Hearing that Yong-soo was afraid of pissing pants, tears surged. "I accepted losing. I would like to kneel." A while later in the office, like the battlefield, Park Soo-ho sat down on the table and looked down at the wanderers kneeling on the ground. They were distorted and distorted in unison. All financial relations between us and Park Jun-ho were resolved. He heard that but was still not satisfied, shouted at him, do it again and again. Zhang Yu and some juniors are afraid of being able to repeat all the financial relations between us and you. Park Jun-ho have been solved thoroughly. As if a little bit of anger in my heart, Sue coughed coldly and said, if I still see you again, I will kill the floods, know what I will avoid myself. Without sealing, many of them bent down the ground, we remember. The whole crowd kept bowing to the face, not daring to move even a little. After a while, there is no noise in the room. Jong-su's name now dares to glance softly to observe. The juniors behind also sat up and said, Big brother, he is gone. Hearing that Jong-su's name was angry. Damn it, where did this dog come from? I will definitely kill them. The transition at a large, high building with offices is still lighting. Inside, Kang Min-yuk appeared urgently running into the big office. After entering him, he said, Deputy Director of Park. There is an urgent thing. The person sitting at the desk heard that continued, Ah, you're hard. He puzzled his face. What's the matter? Kang Min-yuk pointed to the paper holding in his hand and replied, You should see it. Above the computer screen now is Park Soo-ho along with the big F side. This is a new high-level soldier that I have just discovered. This word makes Park Deputy Director extremely confusing. He just issued F. Not to mention today, he has just registered the awakening. Min-yuk was happy to continue. That's great. Show me his background. He heard that and said. He left his hand. So bothered. But apart from the expectations of both the computer screen displays, the refusal to access, this made them hard to understand. Who is this guy in the end? I haven't given up here. Deputy Director Park continued to urge. Try it with the door. Kang Min-yuk replied. All right. After saying that, the two continued to press the computer keyboard to investigate the information of Soo-ho. After a while searching, Deputy Director Park was dumbfounded. Oh my God. The expressions of both are extremely confused, not knowing how to explain this. He asked. His background is gone. He has to level F, really. Kang Min-yuk continued. Is it because of what it affects? Deputy Director Park muttered. Why is his personal information not public? He bites his hand in confusion. He's not in any clan. Is this person hiding anything? Kang Min-yuk stood next to his nod. Yes, that's right. He continued try checking his awakening skills. The more you read the information about Soo-ho, the more they surprised them. My concrete system. What is this bread and water? Kang Min-yuk heard and stopped out. Both closed their heads to talk. Did he use bread and water to catch GU6? Saying that in their heads they imagined the image of the name Choi Gyu-6 being used by Park Soo-ho to use water and bread to throw leans at him. Stop it, no reason. He continued, but he has been missing for 10 years and leaving no whereabouts. In closing, he gave a possibility. Was he ever the task force of our country? Min-yuk gritted his teeth and swore. Damn it, thought he was a special person. He was disappointed turned out to be a nation. Seeing that sad face, Deputy Director Park advised, I should also give up the recruitment of him. Saying that he laughed at his jurisdiction. I guessed this soon. But on the contrary, Min-yuk still felt something wrong to wonder, why could he be so cold? Saying that, he slowly closed slightly and relaxed. Let's go drink coffee. As soon as they walked, both of them gossiped. But what did the task force go to the level 1 dungeon? I know that there is nothing to do. Speaking of which, he reminded him temporarily he kept watching Park Soo-ho. This word makes Deputy Director Park not want at all. Oh my God, you give up. Kang Min-yuk continues to be sure with his decision. If anything special, must tell me immediately. He followed his pleading. No, I am very busy. Time passed quickly, until the next morning at a large hospital. Soo-ho carried the bag slowly and slowly opened the door and entered a disease room. He smiled happily and asked Jun-ho, Are you awake? Jun-ho now sat inside the room with the head bandaged to return. Are you here? He looked at a table full of food. I bought so many things again, Soo-kof continued. I have to eat a lot quickly. On the table, the food was filled with mounds, which was fried chicken potatoes and full hamburger. Soo-ho continued to ask, How do you see in people? Jun-ho laughed and replied, Maybe you can remove the tape tomorrow. He continued, Tomorrow, you have to take the evaluation exam, right? Soo-ho responded. Yes. Hearing that Jun-ho prayed for his brother if he could overcome and join a certain guild, it would be good. Soo-ho did not respond. He ate, and thought a king of the green forest like him had to bow to others. Waiting for a while to see my brother still saying nothing, Junho immediately asked, "Or do you help me learn some good guilds?" He heard that smiling softly, "No need." After the sentence, his expression became radiant, looking straight into his younger brother's eyes to make a decision. He will set up his own guild. Before that sentence of Suho Junho looked extremely unexpectedly exclaimed, "Huh, are you independent guilt rather than joining another guild?" Scenes at a large building are lying in the city. The inside of the saying building was walking around. Suddenly, from behind, someone ran to call loudly, causing her to stop. "Hey, Choice!" She glanced at the cold gaze backward and responded, "Yes, Deputy Director." He now approached in front of her. "Have you had any problems recently?" She puzzled answer, "No." Hearing that the Deputy Director crazy shouted, yet the area she was in charge was exploded twice already. If there was no extra gate yesterday, Seoul would have given it now. "Do you know?" Seeing everything that was pouring on his head, Confusing was not patient, and asked again, maybe, without me, it would not happen. Having been locked by her throat, he did not know what to say but in his head. "Please, please save me." This morning the gate management department called me. Negate continued, "Do they want you to resign?" He did not respond and complained. "Ah, real headache." After finishing the question, he turned to sewing. "This kid, why do you keep ruining my good things?" She answered casually, I don't know, I can't focus these days." Speaking of which, the deputy director took out a piece of paper and gave it to her. "Don't say much more. Take this and go away." She puzzled and asked for something. But when she had just read the content inside, Su Young was angry. She shouted loudly, "My God, I so annoyed and dare to say I tired, just rest." He continued, "Just me, if you work carefully, it is not like that." Before he could let him finish the sentence, she turned to leave. Okay. Seeing that the deputy director angrily asked, "Hey kid, where are you going?" He tried to shout loudly, "Remember not to get the right to eliminate all the candidates. You also know we are missing lately. I need to bring more people to the battle again." Before those sayings, Sewing, of course, did not listen. She objected, if they let those stupid people pass, they would die on the battlefield. After saying that, she kept leaving for him to stand behind. This hot-tempered kid. That new time has arrived at the selection date at the big building. There are countless people inside. They stood at the gossip. This time I will pass. I took the 4th exam. Among them, a guy with curly hair is also extremely excited to take the phone to live stream. "Hello, brothers, I am currently at the recruitment exam. If you can cheer for me to pass this exam." He smiled and continued, "I would definitely meet all the requirements of everyone." Everyone remember to follow. Saying that, he put his hand in shape. "Who's OANH Cams, thank you for supporting you 1001. In his heart, he just laughed, just exam, but was supported so much. "If I get to the dungeon." Before he could let him finish at this time from the door of the people's side to enter, the curly hair hurriedly said, "A brother, the judges have come, they forbid not to shoot, so I will stop broadcast here." But suddenly, Park Soo-ho appeared from here. He with curious gaze stared at the camera. The curly hair was so annoyed. "What is it? For the first time you watched the live stream." Suho smiled back. "Who did you talk to you earlier?" He shouted angrily. "God, you will get away." Facing that attitude, Park Soo-ho was not annoyed at all. "You're fascinating." Hearing that, he gritted his teeth, disgusted. "This father." Speaking of which, the sound of the speaker sounded. "Welcoming everyone, Major Kim Songs will be the general management of all of you for 3 days of the exam. 21 judges here will spend 3 days and 2 nights with you, and they will also be the one who decides whether you will pass this test or not." After listening to the last words, the crowd was discussed again. "This time, I have to show well." "Hey, over there is Captain Park Jang-soo. It is said that going with him will be better." "Oh my God, there is a witch. Any team that follows her will be eliminated more than half." Major continued to be popular. "Have you received the registration number when registering? Now we will start the draw to conduct the team." He shouted those who read the name will move forward in a vertical line in front of his judges. When the notification sounded in turn, people started running fast to their judges. 1 Kim Song's judge 13 clear. 2 Shim Hun 6 judge 15, oh my God. Dad Chen Han's clear. The curly hair is also quickly called. Park Dong-soo judge 15. Hearing that, he gritted his teeth and swore. Cheeked cheeks. The player is right after that is Suho 46. Park Suho Judge 15. Do you wonder? 15. As soon as he finished the sentence, his gaze collided with someone that made him utter. It turned out to the judge of Suho was Samsung. He thought that the blonde girl, the corner of his mouth slightly lifted, smiling and excited. Long time no see. At this moment, Unyoung standing above, she felt that there was a gaze looking at her. When turning her head to look at her, she immediately looked at Park Suho below. Her eyes suddenly opened and was no less surprised. Waiting for everyone to stabilize, the major said loudly. Everyone quickly move back to their goods and wait for the next notice. They entered inside to chat. Are you the team of the 7th judge? Really like it. I can't go with her blonde grandmother. Going deep into a group, suddenly stopped in front of the door and exclaimed room. There is also a bodybuilding room. Wow, this place is like a miniature cell. Contrary to the exciting attitude of everyone, a person with a shaped appearance is dragging away. That person is Dong-soo guy. He sighed and lamented, why did he belong to the witch? Other judges are easy to calm down. I will be eliminated. The room he was in, room number 15. Inside, there are 5 other people who are also standing in arrangements, and one of them is Suho. Suddenly realizing the curly hair, he glanced back. Not in a hurry to talk, he sat down and changed his shoes. Then he looked at him. Why is your face so mysterious? You still laughed by yourself. Hearing someone talking to me. Dong-soo raised his head to look up with a difficult face. He secretly lamented, what is it? Thinking then, he said, so we share the same hole. Park Suho did not understand. Dong-soo explained. Do you not know that the nickname of the blonde lady? It's not suddenly that people call her a witch. He puzzled again, witch. He continued, when I unhappy, she will not hesitate to straighten the type of contestant. If not careful, 3 million your registration fee will not fly. Before that sentence, Park Suho frankly answered. The pilot was because he was lacking in capacity, but why poured at the judge? Hearing that, Dong-soo annoyed. What? He stared at Park Suho thinking he was despising himself. No wonder from the first time I met you did not like this talented father. Park Suho, sitting opposite, also felt that hostile eyes. Dong-soo asked, why have you been empty from me just now, looking at you younger than me? He finished listening to his mouth and smiled provocatively. So do you want to try it? I just found this place was interesting. The atmosphere became more and more intense, making everyone pay attention. Dong-soo was angry and gritted his teeth and responded, damn this dog, do you think I easy to play? Suho is still sitting in the old position, coldly responding to the correct word, yes. No more face and face. He stood up. Okay. Saying that he took off his shirt and walked quickly out of the room. In my opinion, after a while from the outside of the room, someone opened the door. The one who came was Samsung Judge's room number 15. She looked bewildered when she looked around the room without seeing the silhouette of anyone. Her expression annoyed. Oh, where are these people going? At the same time, another room with a brand new device. The whole crowd admired, wow. This prison is really peak. This place is too suitable for punching and dead you hate. In the middle of the room is a large stand. Suho and Dong-soo are standing on it. The others stood under urging, quickly start away. If the examiner caught it, would be chased by the floods. Anyway, this time I was also crushed when it belonged to that blonde witch. Dong-soo sighed. Pooh, come to the other guy, you should see who your opponent is. He smirked, continued. You don't know the violent TV show, right? Hearing the last few words, Suho was still a bewildered face. Newtube, what's that? Can you eat it? In the more and more, Dong-soo became more and more mad. This dog, are you joking me? Are you really breaking? The atmosphere exploded, others excitedly exhorted, very good, beat, hurry, and rush. As strongly strengthened, he began to show off his skills. My hobby is to adjust the guys like you. If I play this paragraph online, there will be at least 100,000 views. Unfortunately, too. Suho felt equally excited, the corners of his mouth laughed. Really interesting. He frantically shouted, don't bark nonsense anymore, the other dog. As soon as he said, he rushed quickly. Go up, I'll take you down within a note. Just like that, Dong-eu threw the punch right in front of Park Suho without hesitation. But at this moment, suddenly someone appeared, shouting, stopped. Others heard the startled voice, looking back. Seeing that they were seamen, they couldn't help but panic. Dong-soo stood above the whole body, sweating mastery of the witch. She, with sharp eyes, looked at all, shouting all back to the room. The expression of sewing was a bit changed. She smiled and said, the loser will be eliminated. This sentence makes Chaining EU extremely surprised, accompanied by confusion. He thought worriedly, she is crazy. Suddenly there was a sound of footsteps coming forward. Hearing that, he glanced at the back. The one who walked was Park Soo-ho. His face darkened, clenched his fist. Facing that attitude, Dong-soo also entered the posture. It's because you take yourself so, don't blame me. Bound. Park Soo-ho is not afraid at all, he smiled, sorry. Do not let him finish the sentence. Dong-soo could not wait but hit the punch, shouting shut up, and collected things away. The bastard. But he could not let him touch Park Soo-ho to give him a blowout. Because the shot was too fast and accurate, he could not avoid it. Staggering feet. Then his whole body crashed his head to the ground. Just like that, the fight was not full of notes. Soo-kof stood still in one place. The recent scene that took place made ongoing also could not believe his eyes. Soo-kof standing on the floor to look down with a mysterious smile. The more she looked at her, the more angry, thinking Park Soo-ho, this bastard, was the cause of everything. She recalled what happened before from the first day he met him until now he was the oligarch that made him uncomfortable. His body exuded an unusual feeling. Still in the flow of thought, suddenly Soo-ho approached. He looked at the Soo-young. What is it? You don't come up. Hearing this, she was still surprised the whole person had not yet responded. Soo-ho continued to laugh and said, if you want to pass, you will go up. Before that, precocity sewing finally reacted. She frowned and exclaimed, what? He patted his chest to condition instead, if I won, don't eliminate him. The more I heard, the more unreasonable she looked at him. Well, it's ridiculous. After saying that, she bent down and placed her sword on the ground. Then she moved on the ring standing opposite Soo-ho. Naming looked at him and asked, are you abnormal? Hearing that, his face showed innocent. What is irregular? What is that? Before he could let Soo-ho understood anything, Soo-young was frantically rushing to shout, if you don't die, I will tell you what it is. Before the lightning-fast speed of sneezing Soo-ho was somewhat unexpectedly stopped, but very quickly he immediately reached out. His feet changed direction gently. After that, he continued to stop her punch, not stopping there. Saying continuously launched a series of punches, but the outcome of Soo-kof's still blocked. Taking the opportunity she was in the initiative, she went on the pillow to hit Soo-ho's face. He still only knows how to put his hand to protect the body. Suddenly feeling something dangerous, his eyes opened. Sewing was rushing to laugh and said, if you win, I will give you another request. After saying that, she threw the kick straight into the middle of Yu-ho's chest, causing him to fly behind. His eyes closed, thousands of no reaction. Seeing that saying still felt something thought. Obviously, he is very strange. Surely he has something. The thought is also the time when her body gently landed safely. But the match has not ended. Confusing, puzzled look at Soo-ho. Immediately her eyes were open when witnessing the scene in front of. Soo-ho did not fall down. The eldest brother clung to the fence. The dark face looked at her and exclaimed, well, you're stronger than I think. Hearing that saying, wondered if he could hold it. Thinking she did not accept but continued to launch another kick. Her eyes were full of confidence. This time it really ended. The kick of saying makes Soo-ho fall from the wallet of the wallet. His whole body fell to the floor. Seeing that, Sewing immediately jumped down. Her powerful feet were raised. Feeling the danger, Park Soo-ho rolled on one side to avoid. Stalling did not stop. She continued to take the momentum to the back. It was still like, just now a series of punches were launched in the face of Soo-ho, but were stopped by him. This time, before the unexpected kick, he could not react to catch. He was focusing on ahead. He felt the point at his side. His eyes glanced over. One leg of Soo-ho shrugged down, then used his elbow to hit his feet. Seeing the active situation was reversed, his mouth smiled, clenched the punch. Summary at that time became tense, the teeth clenched. Damned. There was no other way. She had to raise her hand to create a shield to protect her body. Just like that, Soo-ho's punch hit the shield directly. But it was also very quickly caused by this terrible force to break into many debris. The whole person was not able to react to the back to the ground. Facing unexpected pain, she tried to calmly put her arms on the floor, her legs also held tightly for the whole person to stand. Naming looked up in shock, wondering, did he break his shield? Before she could let her understand anything, Soo-ho continued to say, it was my turn to counterattack. Seeing that Sewing sat still, saying, you really, Soo-kof now shouted, this is interesting. She quickly fainted. You are a person who is not piercing, right? Yes. I was not wrong about this feeling of insecurity. Hearing the question just now, Park Soo-ho seemed to be hit by a black heart, and the whole person stopped. His feet clenched to the ground. The two of them stood still in front of each other. The atmosphere became stifling. Naming continued to say, "I gave up." Hearing that Suho puzzled what to do. "The fight has just begun to become interesting." She frankly replied, "This place is too small so I can use my skills. Next time we will fight back in a bigger place." Although said so, but Suho was not satisfied at all. He smiled and said, "It's ashamed." That mocking sentence made Choi ease crazy. She grumped, "Just tell me your wish, a final betting and betting." Suho immediately asked, "Is there many strong women like you on Earth?" She folded her arms in front of her chest. "Oh, I can't say much." Hearing that, he became happy and smiled and said, "Okay, I chose you to have children with me." The more I heard, the more difficult to understand and exclaim, "What?" Suho is still a happy attitude. "I want to have sex with you." This word has completely made Desuyung unable to hold back. She swung his hand to eat a painful ear. At that moment, Dongsu also woke up, coinciding with witnessing the last scene. His eyes were bewildered. He was stunned. What did the hell happened? On the side, after having given Park Suho a slap, she immediately turned to leave and cursed "crazy bastard." Seeing that Dongsu stood up bewildered. But he was informed. He finally remembered everything. His hand and rubbed his cheeks, crying, "Ah, was he lowered only with a shot?" He looked at Park Suho. "I lost, I guessed I had to go home. I wasted to register without participating in the exam." Speaking of which, Dongsu Devil collapsed to the ground. This is ashamed. The sentence he raised his head, looked at Suho's eyes. His tears kept blaming. "Are you happy now?" Hearing that, Park Suho smiled and replied, "I am not eliminated." This word made Dong Yu unable to believe his ears. His eyes suspiciously exclaimed, "What?" At the same time, from above the corner of the room, all things happened were returned by the camera. The movements from small to large and the voice are observed. Through the screen in a large room, Major Songs sat blankly. His face could not hide amazed thinking Choi Soo-young lost. Returning to the fighting room after finishing, Park Suho turned to leave without forgetting to call, "Let's go." Hearing that, Dong-soo and his red cheeks stood up and ran after saying, "Hey, we said the loser would be eliminated." The more it sounds more difficult to hear, yes. Temporarily put aside, he was curious and asked, "But why did she give you a hawk?" Park Suho answered casually, "I don't know either." This word once again made him fall into reflection. The whole person stopped. Suddenly he realized something. His eyes opened loudly. In the beginning of Dong-soo, the image of Park Suho was slapped again. He thought in darkness, "Maybe because of me. Did you use that ear to ask her to skip this chaotic incident?" Come to think of it, his tears poured out, extremely touched in his heart. Dong-soo looked towards Park Suho with his eyes in admiration. Man, too, this person was a true man. The more he thought, he became more touched. Tears of nose and nose were even more hiccup. Big brother eagerly. Thus, the feelings of both have reached the new floor. He ran after calling, "Big brother, wait for you." But before she could take a few steps to notify the notification, Number 46, born Park Suho, invited him to the supervisory room immediately. Hearing someone calling his name, Park Suho was bewildered. Dong-soo asked again, "Are they calling me?" He replied like that. A while later, at the monitoring room, the door was tightly closed. Inside, Park Suho's room is sitting opposite Major Songs. He now asked, "What do you need to say?" Hearing him ask him, and took out a recording machine. "Wait, from now on I will record the whole conversation." He replied, "Yes." Major began the main issue. "I witnessed the competition between you and the awakened man of level B." Once again heard this word. Suho asked again, "I also wondered just now, what's that?" Seeing the expression of this time, not pretending, the Major thoughtfully thought. After a while, he replied, "It seems you don't fully grasp the information about the gate, right?" He began to explain. "There are currently 3 planets that open the gate of the Earth. The first is the planet Aruba. Aruka planet is home to the ELF and the Dwarf. This is a friendly planet in cultural exchanges and trading with the Earth. They love the Earth here and give people a lot of skills such as magic or techniques of manufacturing weapons and magic. Next is the planet Luncheon. Guchun is where the Mason and Jung One tribes fight to gain control of this planet. Although we can interact with the Jung One clan if the gateway moves in the area, if it links in the field of Mason, the war will happen immediately. And finally, the Mid-planet. Midder is a neutral planet occupied by the Orc clan. However, in addition to the brain, there is a giant monster extremely brutal. If the gate is opened, the war will explode. There are people who have acquired techniques of these 3 planets and returned to the Earth. Their fighting ability cannot be distinguished by the awakened level of the awakened person, so they are called irregular, also known as irregular rules. After listening to the words just now, Suho rested his chin. Well, so complicated. He continued, but not only 3 planets. His sentence unconsciously made the Major stand out. He silently thought, if not only 3 planets would he be the one who returned from the dungeon? If not, why could an F-level person like him be able to defeat the B-level game? Come to think of it, he raised his head to look at Park Suho. So which planet did you return? He looked seriously. I said this to the head of the bald. I have lived with wolves for many years. The answer made the Major dark face, not knowing what he was thinking in. Not to let him say Park Suho spoke first. We finished talking, right? Major hurriedly nodded. Yes. He was somewhat wary of continuing. Thank you for coming to talk to me. You can go back to the room. Just like that, Park Suho went out and closed the door. In the room, there was only Major. He sighed and muttered, really, it is impossible to have that mythical story. At this moment, someone came in and opened the door and said, I am Sergeant Kim Sang-6. He stood neatly. Loyalty, you call me? Hearing that, Major turned to replied, Well, Sergeant Kim, he continued. The position of Supervisor number 15 thanks to you? Sang-6 was surprised. Yes, he curiously asked, Where is the Captain Choi Soo Young-send? Lack of Us put his hand and adjusted the frame to answer. Well, she ran away. Sang-6 was surprised and exclaimed, What do you say running away? He explained it is the story. Shortly thereafter, the sound of the loudspeaker sounded. From the speaker, the voice transmits loud voice. Candidates quickly change and then go to the field. Everyone heard that immediately stood up to prepare. Started, let's go. After a while, at the concentration, everyone appeared. The judges shouted, Take a line according to your team. The new thing here is that the supervisor of team number 15 has been changed to Kim to 6. Everyone feels extremely happy. They changed our team's supervisor. Oh ho, the blonde witch disappeared, only Park Soo. Ho was surprised. Psych then started introducing herself. Hello, Sergeant Kim Sang-6. From now on, I will be the supervisor of Team 15. As soon as he walked, he continued. The request of today will be running 109 seconds and 40 subjects in an hour. Too easy, right? In contrast, other contestants heard that could not help but complain. Oh my God, it is unbelievable. Each person's awakening skill is different. This is a bit too much. The test soon took place. Female contestants seemed more drowned. A girl who ran and breathed in each slightly hard. Supervision looks at a large 13-second clock. Slip. Upon hearing that, the girl proved not to ran at all. Why can you apply the standard for the awakening of physical system to the awakening system to recover? The supervisor becomes angry in the opposite. Do you think the monster will forgive me to recover? Slip. Not to waste more time, the supervisor continued to look at the large paper, number 45 Park Dong-soo, to the starting line. He heard the name quickly answered. Dong-soo stepped up and smiled and said softly, He is too simple. Contrary to him, the contestants behind this lament I feel difficult. Moreover, what should I do in 40 subjects? After saying that, he turned to look at Suho, blinking. Big brother, cheer for me, I went before. Hearing that Suho did not respond, he just smiled his eyes as if he was encouraging. Dong-soo's test immediately started. After only a few seconds, he was able to reach the destination. The mouth shouted loudly, A. After looking at the clock until now, the supervision said 8 seconds. The next contestant also quickly got to the floor. The supervisor reads the next name, number 46, Park Suho. He heard his name, immediately walked over, stepping on the prepared pedal, the hand softly touched the white starting line. Looking at Suho, now completely ready to start at any time. His gaze did not show up a little worried, but to show a confident look. Right nearby, Dong-soo stood and shouted, Big brother, come here. The supervisor waited until Suho started running. He gently pressed his hand to the side of the glass to activate the camera. When the command was just resounded, Suho's legs were released from the pedal. His body is like a tornado, leaving no trace. Seeing the scene before his eyes, Dong-soo could not believe it. The supervisor standing next to it was no exception. The whole person did not know what to say. Even the other contestants were also admired. Their eyes were not missing. Transition at the office of Major Young, so suddenly the phone rang on the desk. He quickly spoke up. The security transmission room, I was Major Kim Young, so the monitoring room. From the other side of the phone line, a voice came in response. Loyalty, I am Sergeant Kim Sang-6. He continued. There were the results of the physical test of the contestant Park Soo-ho, but it was quite shocking. Hearing that Major Young so immediately looked at the video playing on the computer screen, his face became tense, asking, "Is there a reporter?" On the supervisor, Sang-6 heard the Major's question. He turned his head to look back. At the back of his back, he did not know when the reporter had appeared there to take a picture. They admired, "Oh, wonderful, this will be a special news." Is that person? Sang-6 put his hand on the headset, answered. They are very excited. At another place on the desk, the phone is shouting continuously. A girl quickly picked up the phone. I am Kim Mi-soo, an overview of the Department of Management of the Return. Well, hello, Major Kim Young, so. From the other side of the phone, Major, with a mysterious gaze, continued. I sent Park Soo-ho's videos to you. You have to watch them immediately. Facing the somewhat serious attitude of Major Mi-soo was also quite unexpected. Yes. An assistant pointed to Soo-ho's test screen, softly said, Major Kim Song's is the ability to decipher the lies, so I think the content of his interview with Dr. Kim Jong-un while in the hospital is also real. Until now, there is nothing to doubt. Mi-soo thought perhaps all of Dr. Kim Jong-un's report was true. It turned out that the person who returned to F level was always thought that he had paranoia syndrome and irregular from level B or higher. And if everything he said was true, Park Soo-ho really returned from the fourth planet that people didn't know. Thinking, she turned to the assistant park head, please prevent reporters from breaking into the exam school. But his expression was a bit colorful when looking at the phone. That? He brought the phone to Mi-soo above. There is a wake. Up F. Park, Soo-ho cough. New record 14 minutes 48 seconds for 40 general subject category. The previous record of Korea belonged to Sun Ainu with 19 minutes was broken after 3 years. Park Soo-ho world records run 102.24 seconds. It seems that we have taken a step slowly and then the captain. This information made her crazy and could not keep calm. Sharp to remove all the articles down immediately to blockade the news. At that time at the competition school, everything seemed to be beyond the control. The room members rushed inside. They turned their eyes to Soo-ho and Dong-soo, who were walking loudly. Mr. Park. Soo-ho, please stop. Can we interview me just a little, please? Take time for us. Hearing that, he did not care much, just glanced at the cold eyes looking at them without responding. On the contrary, with his attitude, Kim Mi-soo lost in confused thoughts, he could go through the gate of moving without protective gates. Although he only reached type F, because of the lack of multidimensional energy, could his physical parameters when in that planet still exist? Thinking back, the status window system also occurred at that time. The more she thought, the more difficult she would wonder how could he. Her hand was so tense that she clasped together. If it is true, he returned from the fourth planet. At the side of the competition school, the police quickly were present to protect Soo-ho to prevent reporters. Come to think of it, Mi-soo's face clearly showed excitement. The corners of her mouth laughed. We will be the main authority of that mysterious planet. Returning to the exam school, the reporters were stopped outside the door. They tried to plead, let us in a bit, but quickly received a shake from the police side. Impossible. The people behind still tried to get more information. Mr. Park Soo-ho, look at this side to laugh. So dangerous, please back. At the inside of the cafeteria, the other contestants were also noisy to pay attention. They whispered together. What are the reporters out there? It's because of him. A person is Park Soo-ho right? Ku really looks overwhelmed. Do not care about their gossip. Accompanied by a series of lenses heading towards him, Park Soo-ho still casually sat down on the table, put his hand to scoop each spoon of large food into his mouth. Regardless of the people outside are still screaming. Stay out, avoid going, please backwards. Seeing that appearance of him, Dong-eu was even more respectful. He looked at Soo-ho, who was still eating well. In his heart, he secretly felt regret. Yes, I could not be fainted by a mediocre person. Unfortunately, I just need to broadcast that case will be like alcohol. Seeing Dong-soo kept sitting there. Park Soo-ho asked, what are you looking at after finishing eating? He heard that with a wry smile. Is not big brother, he choked rice. Let me get water for me. As soon as he finished the sentence, he turned around and the high plate of rice was cleaned by Park Soo-ho. Dong-soo smiled and thought the amount of rice he ate was also different from everyone. Surely he would become a big figure later. That new rice quickly passed. The two went back to the room number 15 to rest. Inside the room, Park Soo-ho lies in the bed. Besides, Dong-soo has not yet been lying, the whole person sitting dazzling. He looked at the next storage compartments. I look at the luggage closet, everyone is excluded. Hearing that Park Soo-ho still did not budge, his eyes still closed and did not respond. Dong-soo looks bored with school simi-sung and complaining. Hi's, it's a big deal. Hearing this sentence, Park Soo-too looked back and asked again why. He replied, didn't we have to attack the dungeon now? If our team has many people, of course we will have an advantage. I wonder if other teams will arrange human resources. In stark contrast to Dong-soo's worried thoughts, Park Soo-ho was extremely calm. He continued, it's okay, I alone enough. Hearing that sentence just emitted from his mouth, Dong-soo was so unexpected that his eyes were open, thinking more confident than this person. Thinking that he was shyly said, no. Even though I understand his physical strength and fighting strength, but the environments inside the dungeon are extremely diverse. No matter how special talent you have, the attack on the dungeon is not simple. Seeing that he still did not believe himself, Ho replied, could it be you? Well, okay. The first day he met you, I saw you looked at the phone screen while talking. What is that? Dong-soo replied, it's NewTube. Don't you know it? He heard that and sat up, his face puzzled again. NewTube. Looking at this face, he also knew that Soo-ho did not lie. Ha, I don't know it. Did you just go down from the mountain? Increasing, Dong-soo was brought from surprise to surprise, wondering, oh my god, when did this brother live? Come to think of it, he took the phone to Park Soo-ho's side. Please see, this is NewTube. He continued. This place shows the number of viewers. Do you see your number of viewers? 1,284 people. You pointed to the screen and continued. This side is more. He replied. There are many famous channels. Park Soo-ho's eyes continued to hit another channel with an overwhelming number of viewers. He exclaimed, what is this? 100,000. Dong-soo continued. Mukbang is famous now. On the screen now is a girl sitting and eating a large table with huge meat platforms. He excitedly exclaimed, oh, this is probably delicious, right? Can she eat all the place alone? Dong-soo sat next to his eyes and facing his thoughts. But thinking back, this brother's strength is not like ordinary people at all. He said, I know many people in the mukbang world. If you are interested, I will introduce you to them later. Hearing that, Park Soo-ho was happy to ask again, really, you can eat this place too? You promise already. Dong-soo smiled, his eyes claimed to be sure again. Of course, only with this has made Park Soo-ho more and more liked this teammate. You are a good person. But he did not know that Dong-soo was also aiming at the opportunity to make money. He secretly thought that this brother was having a great condition to make the handsome NewTube, good physical strength, and the best achievement ever on the newspapers. Soo-ho still did not know anything to sit attentively to see the phone. Today I will challenge with 30 tteokbokki plates with this person. Dong-soo thought that if he proved his strength tomorrow through the attack on the dungeon, then his #1 talented talent sought by famous guilds was only a matter of time. If I broadcast with such a person. Before he could let him continue, Soo-ho turned to smile. I like you already. Please join your clan. Facing this sudden suggestion, Dong-soo became confused. His eyes widened. Yes. Both of them kept sitting at the four eyes facing each other, staring at each other. No one said. After a while, suspicion of human life, he asked, are you founding the clan? Are you not involved in the guild? Listening to Park Soo-ho immediately smiled and replied, yes. The more I think, Dong-soo became more confused. Wait. In his mind, he suddenly came up with an idea. If I set up a clan with the main character of this hunter's exam, then make a clip of attacking the dungeon. This story, a stream of memories from the old days, quickly rushed back to Dong-soo's brain. The day he was still rolling to play and was collapsed by opponent's knockout. He sat in a corner of the ring, his whole body faintly swears. Damn it, I have tried to go through the time, so I lack the poverty, is also because of boxing. Although I constantly failed to achieve a license to a professional people, I still did not give up hope. Every day trying to practice championship champion, but the great disaster happened, the whole dream and hope of Dong-soo. recalling the conversation with friends, how good he lends me money. The other friend replied, boxing is hard to live now, the world has changed. Others also continued, if you want to make money, you should become awakened and then go to torture or join SPFC, just like that. With the bleeding heart, Dongsu began to step into the path to NewTube. He told you, NewTube, if I do well, I will make money, right? The friend replied, oh my God, who can't do it? You have to have good content. Returning to reality, a series of thoughts still exist in Dongsu's mind. Yes, I must have good content. This is the great content that I have been looking for so long. Finally, my life also blooms. So do not add a bit of thought. He turned to Park Soo. Ho clenched his determination to excitedly said, I will do anything as long as I joined me. Seeing that expression, Soo Hoks smiled and replied, very good. I like you very much. You have to keep the promise of mukbang with you. Due to being so emotional, the tears of Dongsu's nose kept pouring out, sobbing and saying, big brother, I said so in my heart. In the heart of the wide relationship, the key was the key to success that, seeing that he was so excited, Park Soo-ho could not understand and asked, why did you suddenly cry? He replied, nothing, don't mind. Waiting for a while to relieve emotion, Dongsu asked, but this big brother, a clan must have at least 3 people. I agreed already. But until now, Park Soo-ho knew this. He asked bewildered 3 people. Before he could let him finish the sentence, suddenly from the outside, someone pushed the door in. Hearing the noise, Dongsu and Park Soo-ho simultaneously turned his head. Standing outside the door now is a person with a strange dress, bald head, without a hair, a cold face. Dongsu looked towards the newcomer. His eyes were bewildered. Then he immediately asked, why did you suddenly have a monk here? The other person, now joined together, began to introduce himself. The monk is contestant number 80. The name Mekong Jin was newly transferred to Team 15. Namo Amitabha Buddha Kwan the Bodhisattva. Upon hearing, Dongsu startled. The monk is also the awakening person. Before she could greet each other, suddenly, the sound of the conversation suddenly. This sound is the loud notification speaker that is being installed outside. After a while, the sound also disappeared. A person said, candidates change the competition and gather in the instruction room within 30 minutes. This sudden announcement makes everyone extremely difficult to understand. Gather. Dongsu was annoyed, his mouth wiped the gourd. What's wrong? Suho also asked, didn't we attack the dungeon tomorrow? Mekong Jin at that time joined together. The monk heard that the attack on the tunnel will be conducted at night without notice. Male model Amitabha Buddha, hearing that, Dongsu widened his eyes and cried out loudly, not notice, it was unbelievable. A while later at the gathering room, everyone was present. Lack of universal began to disseminate. Quietly quiet now, I will start guiding the attack on the hell. He continued, today's test is to check if you can enter the dungeon, and this dungeon is located in the 5th area of Seoul, belonging to the management of Phone Hoeing Guild. This is a first-class prison bunker with a total of 250 doors. Listening to this, Park Soo-ho asked questions. Phone Hoeing Guild Dongsu sat next to explain. Although the Phone Hoeing Guild is not in the top 12 guilds representing the Royal National, it is also a very famous guild. This question made him stubbornly thought, which planet does this planet come from? Yes, that. It is known that the country cannot manage all the gates that appear. Therefore, the country has recruited clans and signed a treaty with them so that they help the country defend the 12 areas in Seoul. And people call the clan signed the National Defense Treaty, that is the guild. The guilds both manage the dungeon in their area and also manage the benefits from the dungeon. The greater the size of the benefits they manage, the more they will try to amplify it. After the great disaster of the world economic order began to be restructured, taking this large-scale industry as a key. After listening to the explanation, Park Soo-ho asked curiously, you mean we can hunt for money in places where the state allows? Dongsu replied, yes, it is like that. He recalled the time before living with the wolves, thinking that he wanted to set up a clan because I miss these months and hunt with wolves. Come to think of it, the corners of his mouth slightly lifted Lao Mi Sung and enjoying. So we can also own a separate area. Dongsu now continues. If we have our own prison bunker, we know how much, and you will have to pay for it. Suho did not care about that saying. He clenched his fist tightly. Okay, so our goal will be a guild. Hearing that, he faltered, Big brother first, we have to pass this exam. Seeing his gaze seemed not trusting himself, Park Soo-ho glanced over. Dong-soo thought, what, this brother is like an idiot. Standing above Major Young, So said, this is the shape of the gate located on Highway 14 of the 5 areas, the first prison bunker, and about 15 days before it will crack. It is the maze prison, with the least number of items, which is also the easiest of the dungeons. If you meet your child too weak, maybe you will have to provide a lot of multidimensional energy to sufficient the number of items. It's a bit unfortunately, right? Speaking of which, he closed. Well, so I have finished guiding you about attacking the first prison. Dong-soo worried his stomach. What's it? Come to think of it, he hugged his head and cried to blame himself if he had a dangerous skill. Right on the side, Park Soo-ho sat silently watching Dong-soo's appearance. He turned to point his hand at himself, confidently said, You have this adventurer skill. This sentence seemed to shock his spirit. His eyes opened his mouth and smiled and faltered, Big brother. But his face quickly changed to curiosity. Wait, he learned that skill before participating in the competition. Even if he did nothing, but he still had a skill book worth 30 million won. And then suddenly a conclusion quickly formed in Dong-soo's mind. This brother is the rich man. Dong-soo's eyes continued to pay attention to Mekong-jin's side. He asked, Master, don't know your awakening skills. Hearing that Mekong-jin glanced at the sharp gaze without responding, he quietly continued to look down, his face a little hard to describe. Seeing that expression, Suho was also extremely curious. At this time, Mekong-jin turned to softly said, Building. A stream of memories began to rush in his mind. On the day he was still in the temple chanting, the sound of saving rescue resounded evenly as if squeezing lemon constantly. Accompanied by that from the outside, a series of masses of the massive monsters rushed. In the main hall, the knocking sound of Mekong-jin is still ranging, gold spreads everywhere. The sound is like being great more and more surrounded by the temple. From those noises, monsters focused their attention. They cried scary how countless nearby goblin are attracted to this sound. And then they were crazy. The mind was disturbed bared. Mekong-jin still doesn't know what is happening outside. He is still like a statue of chanting inside. From the trees in the nearby forest, the sound of the monster is increasingly loud, as if to shake the sky. Suddenly a monster, with a hideous appearance, 10 times larger than the goblin earlier, emerged. It was also attracted to that noise. More and more his knocking sounds faster. It was like casting the monsters that made them uncontrolled and frantically rushed to the sound of the sound. At this time, the number of goblin has been extremely large, looking at hundreds of children, briefly not less. Not only that, right behind them are a giant monster with a monstrous size. The door of the room where Mekong-jin was sitting suddenly opened, accompanied by a loud voice. Mekong-jin. Another monk looked extremely panicked. Mekong-jin stopped quickly. Hearing that he still did not understand what happened, bewildered. Gongso. He calmly continued, Now you have to... But before he could let him finish the sentence, the other monk urged the abbot called for the gathering. We had to run away from this place quickly. Just mentioned here, suddenly the face of Mekong-jin transformed, his eyes widened, sweating like rain. It turned out that right behind the back of the other monk at this time a goblin appeared. There opened a large mouth with colorful fangs. It did not, except more immediately rushed to eat and devoured the unfortunate monk. Come to think of it, suddenly the voice of Major Young. So orang pulling Mekong-jin back to reality. So I ended the attack on the attack. At this time, Suho and Dong-soo are still sitting next to observe. He asked, curiously, What's wrong with that, teacher? Lack of us continued. From now on, after moving to the gathering site, you will gather into the team with your supervisor to start the attack on the hell. Please take advantage of the travel time to review the instruction book to be again. A series of cars carrying players quickly started in the night. Hopefully all of you can conveniently pass this test. After a while, moving the whole gathered at the gate point is about to be opened. The loud shout rang out all the gathering. The supervisors ordered quickly to focus on observing my movements. If you do not maintain your spirit, you will not be able to survive. In the car, Sang-six watched the players ask. After preparing it, Dong-soo looked towards Park Soo, who reminded Big Brother he had to tighten his seatbelt. Sang-six smiled and continued. Starting from the moment of entering the dungeon, you can consider it without me there and act yourself, but you know that each person's personal score can still reduce, even if your team successfully cleans up the dungeon. Hearing that, Dongsu had a question. But this supervisor, our team only has 3 people. You will help when we are in danger, right? Facing that question, Sang Six did not respond, just smiling and smiling. Let's show it. Park Soo-ho began to get off the car, preparing to enter the dungeon. He did not forget to turn to ask Dong-soo, why did you have to be so scared? He faltered. It's not big brother, I'm not afraid. Before he could let him finish the sentence, Makong-jin looked at the supervisor to ask, are we using personal weapons? Sang Six immediately answered, of course. When I was walking, Dong-soo suddenly realized something. 2 eyes wide open, thinking about what is that teacher also probably, because they had gone through the mercenary test in advance, so they all brought weapons made from multidimensional matter. Standing in front of the hell, a supervisor loudly said, Team 14 entered success. Next, Sang Six stepped forward. Team 15 entered the door 175. He turned to look at the players and his team. Lao Mi Sung, let's go in. Hearing the command, all 3 Park Soo-ho people entered. Team 15 starts. As soon as he walked across the gate, Park Soo-ho went straight ahead without waiting for anyone. Seeing that Dong-soo thought worriedly, why did he go alone? I am too insecure. Thinking then, he rushed to call Big, the big brother of the 4 sides. Just now, he suddenly startled his mouth. Hic. Dong-soo's eyes glanced at the supervisor to Six, walking behind. Damn it, I have been deducted from the point. I have to be quiet to confirm the safe area. I shout, like that will attract the attention of the monster lost. At the same time, on the side of Park Soo-ho, a dry skeleton with a sharp weapon suddenly came from. But before he could let him do anything, he reached out to grab his head. After that, he straightened a direct punch in its face, making it unable to react. Skulls were immediately beaten into several pieces of falling. Seeing that the dry skeleton was defeated in a note, Dong-soo excitedly said loudly, it turned out that his sound made the monster vigilant, causing them to be lured here and destroyed. I did a good job of our combat plan. Saying that he ran towards Park Soo-ho, big brother, did you use the adventurer and advance, right, if there was a mistake? Before he could let Chaining EU said all the sentences, Park Soo-ho seemed to feel something. His eyes glanced back, exclaimed, Huh! In the end, the unfortunate thing happened. Myung-jin accidentally triggered a trap under the ground. He also immediately realized that he had made mistakes. His face became panicked. Before they could let them understand what happened, from the top of the loud noises began to ring. Dong-soo's face darkened and faltered. Here this is. He looked at the arrows in a series of straight towards him and shouted, Trap! Mekong-jin did not, except quickly pulled out the sword from the back. His gaze became hard to describe the emotions when the old began to rush back. In front of him, he appeared to be a rain of ammunition being launched. Those bullets flew straight towards the huge monster that was parked on the roof of the temple. Below, the other monks are also struggling to fight the goblin. At the same time, inside the Mekong-jin's room was sitting down next to a body the fire surrounded. His expression clearly showed pain. Tears flowed and moaned, "I sorry for me." Shortly thereafter, a loud explosion rang out, collapsing the whole building with a giant monster. He blamed himself at me. Returning to the present, Mekong-jin did not want that scene again. He used the Manchu Nguyen phone to beat the key arrows coming. Each of the sharp arrows just broke into 2 and then fell to the ground. Dong-soo stood behind him worriedly and said loudly, "Oh my God, this brother will die." But before he could let him walk a few steps, the foot had trampled another trap. Since then, the newspaper was born and pulled all 3 to fall into the deep pit, shouting screams, "Ah!" When the 3 had just fallen, the hole immediately closed. So the land now returned to its intact appearance as if nothing had happened. The surrounding time was incredibly quiet, only the ruins of the arrow were deeply pinned. At the bottom, the Park Soo-ho stood without a bit of injury. Right next to them were moans. IUI. Dong-soo fell straight on the ground and sighed. Haze so terrible, maybe all my dreams have melted into smoke. Just mentioned here, suddenly not far away from a series of strange noises are transmitted. Feeling something approached, Dong-soo's eyes wide open. That noise still did not stop getting closer and closer. Way. He panicked alarm. Big brother, it seems that we have attracted them here. Until now, Makong-jin said his true skill. Sorry, the Sang has awakening. Skill is widespread provocation. Upon hearing that Dong Park was exclaimed, Damn widespread provocative. Contrary to his expression, Park Soo-ho was extremely calm, he said softly. It was good, but looking for each one was very troublesome. This made Mekong-jin a little unexpectedly accompanied by puzzled glancing over. Before he could let him say anything, Soo-ho launched the kick straight into the top of the ground above, causing it to break out. Witnessing the recent scene, Mekong-jin was startled and scared, clenched to the teeth together. Dong-soo is equally admired. Oh, is that a human kick? Soo-ho now stood still on the top. He looked down below the two of these monks. I like you already. Please enter my clan. This invitation made Mekong-jin unable to adapt, his eyes showing his bewilderment. Not far from their place, the dry bones holding weapons appeared. Hearing the sound, Park Soo-ho looked calmly turned to look behind. His eyes widened his mouth and said softly, "Exploration." Immediately his vision was expanded around and he could see the number of dry bones coming. They cried loudly. How to know how? The dry bones of each child wearing a cloak of all kinds of different colors, their mouths opened the sword and slashed the sword. Do not let them wait long, Soo-ho backed to get momentum. And in just one blink of an eye, he and his body quickly rushed to soar without any hesitation. Witnessing this, Dong-eu was afraid of his face, wondering, he tried to treat them really. Still in a messy thought, suddenly a long stick rushed down right in front of him. The one who brought the stick down was none other than Mekong-jin. He shouted loudly. Hearing that, Dong-soo calmed himself and took his hand to grab the stick. I don't care anymore, I have to start fighting with them. Hunting monsters as planned after using widespread provocation. After a while, he finally climbed up, moaning. Haggard. But they could not expect that when they had just climbed up, the entire dry bones were defeated. They were lying on the ground, their mouths screaming in pain. There. Mekong-jin was stood back by this scene. Dong-soo's mouth gaped crazy. How to handle them all here? Seeing them just standing out there, Soo-ho urged, quickly follow me to handle this rubbish. Hearing the voice, the two adjusted the spirit of high concentration. I came here, that brother is crazy. So the three together coordinated in a very good way, beating the dry bones without any difficulty. In another direction, the supervisor to 6 also witnessed everything. He thought in astonishment, did he have discovered that trap with the adventurer, and he even took advantage of that trap to slaughter the floods that were rushing to come at his incredible speed. As soon as he thought of it, he suddenly stopped, his eyes wide open. Park Soo-ho at this time with only one hand was able to break the head of the dry bone. Taking the opportunity, he did not pay attention to another one, also groped from the top down. But as well as he immediately realized, his eyes glanced at the top. Before he could let Park Soo-ho react, a stick came from plugged through the head of the ill-fated dry bone, destroying it on the spot. The one who has just made this blow is none other than Mekong-jin. Dong-soo stood behind excitedly. Great. Soo-ho continued to return to the process of destroying dry bones, kicking them with just one shot. The system resounded. You achieved 42 real points. The transition outside the dungeon at a large building is still lighting. The inside of the people were sitting and observing on the big screen. Notice. There are teams coming back from the dungeon. Hearing that, Major Young so suddenly asked again, what? He approached again. Isn't this average time for this 5-hour prison, or how do they have an accident? The other immediately reported, Team 15, sir. I see all members of this team have a stable state. Team 15 is Park Soo-ho's right. Suddenly the phone ring rang out. He picked up the phone. Yes, I am the director of the inspector. Why are they coming back? Listening to the supervisor to 6 answered, because they had already wiped out this dungeon. This made Major Young so suddenly exclaimed, What did you say? He added, although he watched the surveillance video will know, but I think it will be difficult for us to evaluate their parameters, because this is the highest performance ever appeared in the dungeon. That new time passed quickly, returning to daily life at the familiar alley. Dong-eu has just smiled and said, Hello brothers, welcome to the vlog channel, The Small Things in Soo-ho Clan's Daily Life. He looked at the inspirational comments. Did you ask what will I show you today? First, please watch the video moving to Soo-ho Clan's new home. Later, at a large house, emitted Dong-soo's voice. Well, now I will introduce you to the members of Soo-ho Clan. Here, the first is an extremely attractive, lovely nutritionist who takes on the position of Soo-ho Clan's chef. After saying that, he directly turned the camera towards the landlord. It is the owner of the inn, Grandma, please greet the audience. Upon hearing that, she raised the sharp knife, her eyes as if she wanted to eat and swallow. You're busy knowing what I go away quickly before you all over the heart of your lungs and lungs. Each word that the mistress has just said to make Dong Yu's ears want to bleed. His eyes are blank. Gun Wu was sitting and eating next to that. When he heard the words just now, asked Daddy, what does it mean? Hearing his son ask Jun, Ho did not know how to answer, could only be warm. Well, that. Dong-su continued to say, Ahaha, this is not an abuse, she is a very affectionate person. After the sentence, he continued to point the camera towards the Buddha statue on the roof of the closet, continued, Well, do you ask why there is a Buddha statue in this office? If you ask me to talk about this statue. Speaking of which, suddenly he exclaimed, Well, that's right, last time you still haven't seen the owner of this statue, right? So let's go to meet one of Suho clan's 3 members. The mastery provokes a wide area. Bong Lam Khan, the master Mekong Jin. Without extra, except Dong-su directly entered the place where Suho and Mekong Jin were sitting and eating. Brothers heard that Park Suho turned to ask, Is there coming? He started to introduce, Have you seen the monk? That is the monk, Mekong Jin. Hearing his name, Mekong Jin also shot and said, You come to use a little meal. Before he could let him say anything more, Dong-su continued his live stream. Master Mekong Jin also greeted the audience a little. This is the first time Mekong Jin encountered, so it was inevitably shy. After a while, he happily took his weapon introduced. The Sangha has lost a lot when attacking the wicked ghostly floods, but with this tree left by the brother. At this moment, suddenly a loud voice rang out, interrupting the story of some people. The car is also stopped in front of the door. Junho sat inside the car and looked out loudly. Brother, I finished preparing. Just waiting for this statement, everyone immediately stood up and excitedly ran out. Let's go subjective money. Just like that, all 3 climbed into Junho's car. There was fly cam on the top. Suho looked up on the fly cam and asked, Hey, what is flying from just now? Let me break it. Hearing that, Dong-su hastily reminded, Oh my god, I don't know fly cam. After saying that, he continued to look at the introductory camera. Currently, we are moving to the area with port number 30 in Region 4. Have you seen that blue gate? Today is a historic milestone marking the first day of hunting for the dungeon of Suho clan. While saying Dong-su, while showing a confident appearance. Do you remember the video of my awakening skills? Please wait for me and post that video. After a while, moving, all 3 had come to stand in front of a cliff. Above the sky, a series of black bats flew. Shu-ho asked in surprise, Is that bat? Dong-su continued, Is this a bat, Doc? He looked towards Park Suho more, and Big Brother, do you have any wide area skills? He answered, No. Hearing that casual answer, he continued to ask, So how do we catch them? At this moment, Mekong Jin immediately said softly, Let me worry. Hearing that, Park Suho and Dong-su glanced at his puzzled eyes. Immediately, Mekong Jin began to launch his skills, take risks, then type. The knocking sound was quickly echoed to the area around thousands of miles. Hearing these sounds, the floods in the sky also began to react. They frantically gathered at one point. Witnessing that strange phenomenon, Dong-su immediately pulled the camera, pointing to the sky. Through Why are they like that, guys? Everyone look away. The bats are having unusual reactions before the prayer of Master Mekong Jin. If you look closely, everyone can see that these bats are not normal at all. They have extremely strange faces and sharp fangs that are angry. Shortly thereafter, they gathered like a shadow sphere down. Seeing that, Dong-su shouted, They are here. The place where bats are rushing is no other than Mekong Jin's place, sitting and knocking. When he saw that the bat was approached, he immediately stopped grabbing the weapon to prepare for the fight. Dong-su stood beside him. The bats are attacking Master Mekong Jin. The camera turned close to the face of the bat. Now his eyes flashed red, as bloody his mouth opened a big roar. It is like that. But among Jin is not a medium. He took his weapon to use the fire of fire-dyed sun phone con. The sparks splashed out and crashed down the monsters. Wow, look at it, it's fire-dyed sun phone. When the bats were defeated by Clean, the Lord finally appeared from the abyss. It roared loudly, as if to tear the space before his eyes. Finally, the last boss of this bat dock appeared. Before he could let the boss dread for a few seconds, Park Suho suddenly appeared with the sword in his hand, cutting his people into 2 pieces. Dong-su admires Wow with just one sword of Big Ka Suho. As soon as he said he brought the knife to slash the bats, the monster he was rushing. We cleaned this dungeon. After a while of fighting, the three sitting next to the bat's corpse was dissected. Park Soo-ho said, "The door is already opened. Hurry up." Dong-soo continued, "Big brother, let's sell one more." Dong-soo's live stream that day took place smoothly with many viewers. They massively commented, "That's not right. Maybe attacking the dungeon is so easy. The time to clean up the tunnel for 20 minutes is real. I am the one who went to this bat dung 3 days ago. It was not the easy, clear bunker. Park Soo-ho was the one who set a new record of the last exam, right? What kind of man I thought he was, just in the style of the monk. You don't need to do anything. He just needs to sit there to get the blood of hundreds of children." That video quickly transmitted everywhere. At a large office, a person was sitting on the desk of pressing his mouse. "That person is Misu." She looked at the screen and sighed. "Edema." The next assistant spoke. "Their main facility is located in the 4th zone of Seoul, and at this speed on average the 3 of them can clear up to 20 docks a day. Currently they are destroying the first-class dungeons. In the phone, there is a rebellion of the genius hunter F. Park Soo-ho 7789 commented through the real peak. "Are they real people?" Hearing these words, Misu held her head and sighed tiredly. "We have tried to block the news, but it was unexpectedly one of them is streamer," the assistant continued. "Currently, the videos related to Park Soo-ho have climbed to the top 3 on the search bar. If we block the news, everything will be loud. This word is also reasonable." She whispered, "I know that too." As soon as she finished, she suddenly stopped, her eyes wide open. "Huh." On the computer screen is a very hot new news. Hero with Jervis, the Russian world champion. Hulk Michael Jervis challenged Okta Hero. She thought Hero secretly. After this match, the world's #1 player Hulk Michael Jervis directly challenged his next opponent, Okta Hero Japanese. He confidently said, "Next will be your turn, Okita Hero." In Misu's memory, the impression of the man named Hirokiya appeared. Okita Hero, also known as Lee Song-woo. The SS-level irregular was discovered in Korea. The government quickly approached him as a talent to protect his talent. If he confronts Lee Song-woo, just thinking about it, suddenly the voice of the assistant standing beside him rang. The captain heard that. She immediately stood up and said, "Prepare to approach Park Soo-ho." That night at the house where Soo-ho and everyone was in, the information, quickly transmitted, made the fans rushed. The seller takes that opportunity to offer real power. Kimbap 3001 in part fish cakes, 501 a tree. At the inside of the house at this time, Dong Eu asked, "Did the master Monjin do not come today?" Junho replied, "Yes." Soo-ho finished listening. He felt extremely expensive. "And where is the monk going? His temple is no longer available." Junho smiled and answered, "Actually, the survivors at that day at the monk's temple came to Seoul and lived here." Dong-soo sat next to him. "If there is no teacher, our hunting performance will be reduced. Not to mention that any more trembling and asking you today we take a break for a day anyway, our clan is eligible to promote." These words made Choi naming EU extremely agree. His face became bright and shouted, "Wow, that's the new one. So we can attack the secondary prison bunker, right?" Junho smiled and replied, "Moreover, in just 3 days, our clan's medium fund has reached 140 million won." He laughed and thought, "Hey, all that I did was just harvesting the blood of the bats. Yet in just 3 days I had up to $2,000 in the account, if now started attacking the secondary prison bunker." Sitting on the side, Soo-ho paid attention to that expression of Dong-soo. His eyes were somewhat confusing. His eyes showed an information board, Han Dong's level 3, F new tuber. He clicked on the computer and said he would be crazy. How many more blood clots will I get? At that time, after more than 3,000 real points, I used to buy all that messy skills. It seemed like there were many interesting skills here. Thinking, he smiled and said to everyone, "Okay, so let's take a break today." Upon receiving the consent of my brother, Junho happily stood up and said, "Then I will take Gun-woo and the landlord to the park for a walk." Through Soo-ho's vision, he could see an information table including the name Park Junho, without information. Seeing that his eyes were a bit deep as if he wanted to say something, and then again. He continued to sweep his gaze to the landlord. She was walking to Baku's place, happily call Baku and Rice. Around both of them also have the information sheet appears. Sukja Lee has no information. Bekku, level 1, force 3. Sukov's curious that dog belly can also awaken to humans. Thinking then, he looked at Junho. This Junho heard that he turned to the answer. Huh, Suho continued. I have often had to repair my car now, before the grace of his brother. He smiled and answered, Oh my God, don't say that. It is true that finding spare parts to fix cars tired, but after fixing it is still very delicious. Before he could let him finish the sentence, Suho asked his opinion, or we bought another semi-talented car, the latest type of life. That makes Junho extremely happy. He was happy to face his eyes wide opened. Really. The corner of EU coughed, slightly laughed. His eyes seemed to be in response. Yes. He looked towards Baku sitting next to the tail, wagging the tail, and continued, Let go with, saying that both brothers immediately led each other to the car store. The seller introduces this is the Gondar Dragon XG7000. Looking at the beautiful blue car in front of him, Junho happily exclaimed, Wow, this Gondar Dragon was dubbed the dream car of the hunter there. The seller continues to offer. This car uses fuel is extremely sustainable jelly, and its price is also the best when only 80 million won. After listening to the advice, Suho looked towards his younger brother and asked, Do you like it? Junho happily replied, Of course, no more hesitation. You look at the salesman, we will pay all in cash. Can you always get inventory? After a while, the car was driven by the two quickly to an abandoned house. In the car resounded howling. YA howling. Sitting inside the car, Junho still could not help but praise. Wow, this car is really peaked different from the sky compared to the old-fashioned car. Bekku seemed to agree. Seeing his younger brother so happy, Park Suho was also satisfied. That's right, the feeling of sitting on the seat is also great. Knowing this, he had bought it soon. Speaking of which, Junho couldn't help but ask, But why are we going to 23 areas now? Are you not blocked that area? Listened to him, glanced softly to search. Because I don't have money, I can't wake up, right? This sentence surprised Junho, accompanied by confusing. Huh. Suho continued, Let's wake up today. This word just uttered. Junho scared to harden his body. His panic eyes widened. What? After a while, the car also entered deep inside the abandoned area. This place is hard to describe. The high-rise buildings are also covered with moss. Sitting inside the car, Junho looked even more and more goosebumps, sweat poured out. Baku next to, and feels something unusual here. It constantly groaned to the teeth, as if preparing to fight. Seeing its reaction, Park Suho smiled and asked, Baku now smells right is the stinking smell of goblin. It still did not let go of vigilance, sitting on the stance. Only Junho is now worried, turning to falter. You feel too insecure, can we go? But Park Suho did not agree. He opened the car directly. Then he stepped down and said, I will come back immediately. You and Baku sit here to wait. Looking at the silhouette of his brother, demanded Junho, scooped up with his hand, Brother, I was Khan. Before he could let him finish the sentence, a loud noise rang out. He stood at the time, his eyes widened, his mouth. The sky is increasingly pulled at the house where the lone usury is in. They are also paying attention to the computer screen to play back the live stream. That's Suho. Is he right? Yes, big brother. He is a hot name on YouTube recently. The junior stood beside him, said, We cannot anticipate the power of a name irregular like him. The big brother also showed fear, as this, even if we hire people to assassinate him, is useless. Inside the video, constantly emitting a voice. Big brother, the boss of the dungeon on the left, it is rushing there, knowing that. But the junior still proved furious and said loudly, Damn it, but we could not leave it like that. The big brother turned to the order. Quickly take me the list of LAN in the 4th area we often sponsor. The junior said, If the 4th area the assistant play is there. As soon as he heard it, he suddenly came up with a cold, said, Okay, hey, the assistant. He recalled the conversation the previous day with the assistant. Chuckle menacingly, You know that you will have to pay me 50% in advance. He continued, If it is an assistant handling a person, is just a small thing like a rabbit. Seeing his chances had come, the big brother smiled cleverly. Smiled. He contact him right away. I will meet all the fees he asked. Outdoors at this time, the thunderstorm has pulled to the black drama, accompanied by the sound of the winding. Only a while later, heavy rains began to pour down. The hostess walked in the middle of the rain and digging. The ancestor had to wash it again. Still walking, suddenly a black car rushed over, stopped right next to her. Seeing that, she glanced at her puzzled eyes to look through. From the car, Misu stepped down and asked Ms. Sukchali, right? She took out a business card brought in front of her to continue. We are from the Department of Management. Can we see Mr. Park? Sue Hokoff. In the heavy rain, every drop of water on the face of the old man, listening to the words of the other people, she had not yet answered, but did not observe it. Suddenly a light flashed lightning down to incision across the night sky. In the blockade area, Junho's car is still parked there. He looked worriedly and muttered, I didn't see anything. It was already 30 minutes. I didn't know what he was doing. Just mentioned here suddenly, Baku felt unusual. It ruffled all the hair the sharp teeth bared. Its attitude makes the atmosphere worse. The trembling also feels extremely insecure. When he was sitting in a god, he was startled by a loud noise. The glass door on the side of the car was shattered by a huge monster. He shouted, scared, "Ah!" But before Junho reacted, the monster was defeated by someone. Bloody gore thrown out, Baku's voice also barked. Bound. The door on the side of the car was suddenly opened. Blood was still patchy on the ground. Due to encountering the previous thing, Junho was extremely scared, startled, and glanced at his eyes. Fortunately, the one who appeared was Park Soo-ho. He opened the door to look at his brother, ordered. Seeing that attitude of his brother he did not dare to do, left his eyes showed a faltering puppet. After a while, he finally had the courage to step down. Right below the ground is the body of a lying goblin. But he was still not dead. He tried to use his hand to raise his mouth. Unho was seen in front of him, causing fear back and forth. Hick. Suddenly a knife from where to cry on the ground in harmony with the sound of rain. Park Soo-ho glanced back and said, "Kill it and follow me." Upon hearing that, Junho knelt on the ground, took the knife, hurriedly called, "I was drilled." He used the cold eyes to turn to the star. Junho, 2 tears of tears, asked again, "That do you definitely wake up?" Suho once again reminded, "If you are so weak you can't survive, kill it quickly." Although saying that, Junho completed himself to become strong to be able to protect everyone, but the fear still overwhelmed in his mind that he could not be able to act. You. The other goblin still lying there, his mouth still opened, but his strength was weaker. Right on the side, by constantly groaned loudly. Suho immediately ordered. Baku bit it. Not much, except. With the instinct of a fighting dog, Baku rushed to the goblin. He opened his small mouth to bite tightly into the wrist of the monster, causing the monster to cry in pain. Although the monster was weak, Baku's strength was not enough. It was quickly grabbed by the goblin. Suho now continues to turn to urge his brother. Baku is still young, so he has not done anything. If you don't stab it right away, Baku will die. Everything increasingly put Junho in one place. He cried and pleaded, eagerly, "I beg you." But Park Soo-ho did not yield. His cold face, like a lightning stretched in the sky, shouted, "Kill it." There was no other way. Junho clenched the knife holding in his hand and choked. Eagerly. On the side of the goblin, it began to open its big mouth to want to devour the poor Baku. There was no other choice. Junho was forced to take action. He took the knife to raise his head, then shouted loudly and then plugged the knife straight of the monster's head. The monster was destroyed. Its hand tightened. Baku also loosened, causing Baku to roll to the ground, but still did not stop there. Park Soo-ho continued to shout, "Do it again." Following the words of his brother, Junho repeatedly shouted and stabbed into the body of the dead monster's body. The fresh red blood of the reddened redness followed her to splash everywhere. After a while, the blood-covered knife lying on the ground blended with rainwater. He sat on his neck up to the sky, his face darkened again. River. After a while, he put his hand in front of him. Looking at his hand was full of blood. Junho's heart feels hard to describe. The sound from the throat rang. Park Soo-ho stood there. He continued to urge to pick up the knife. Hearing that, Junho cried and trembled and said, "Brother, I really can't do it." Soo-ho reminded, "If I didn't kill it, I would be killed by it." Right now, Baku continued to get up. It looked towards the dangerous thing approaching the growl. Hearing the sound, Junho also looked up. 2 teeth clenched together, eyes suddenly. In front of him, a different contribution to the injured body is also crawling. Suho said coldly, "Kill it and follow him quickly, we don't have time." After finishing the sentence, he turned to walk directly without turning it back. Looking at the appearance and that attitude of his brother Junho knew he was not joking. He used a weak voice to plead, "Older brother." Suddenly, a stream of breasts in his head appeared when he was still bullied by his schoolmates. They laughed and said, "Hey, you go over." Hearing that Junho raised his head to look up and found that Park Soo-ho was gliding by, but not at all hungry. He tried with his hand, "Bro, wait." But even though he called Park Soo-ho's neck, he did not come back and left. Older brother, returning to the present appearance of his brother, once again appeared exactly like before. Junho did not know what to say. He stopped crying softly. Older brother. His expression became calm. His eyes hid his fear earlier. He glanced at Park Soo-ho and looked at the trembling monster on the ground. Without hesitation, Junho took the bloody sword lying on the ground. The monster is still constantly growling, even though the body is seriously injured. When he was calling, he suddenly saw Junho holding a knife and stood up. His whole body stopped motionless. His dark face said softly, "That's right, so far he has always been like that." The end of the sentence is also the time when the monster's loud scream rang. He immediately ran quickly towards it without hesitation or fear. Junho straightened the knife through the head of the monster, directly defeated it on the spot. His gaze is different from usual, emitting a bright red ray. The real deafness. As he said, he stabbed the monster's head with a knife. He was now completely controlled, his teeth clenched together.